Let it go 얼어붙어 like wow 띵하고 어지러워 I see 한여름에도 넌 겨울 Yeah, 거의 yeah, 너와 있을 때 I swear 제가 원더 zero 폭설한 그 children 꿈에도 I wasn't aware 나만 빼고 넌 모두에게 참 친절해 배신감이 들어 단판이 돼도 머릿속을 흔드니 ibuprofen 그만해 it's time to stop 승부욕을 자극하는 style yeah. 알면서도 마음이 자꾸 내게 가 아마 빠져버릴까 If you want me back I'll tell you I'm sorry If you want me back I'll tell you stop trying Yeah, you got me Let it go 얼어붙어 like wow 띵하고 어지러워 I see 한여름에도 넌 겨울 Yeah, girl you cold-blooded Yeah, girl you cold-blooded Yeah Girl you cold-blooded Girl you cold-blooded I'm like frozen 뭐야 모두 stress은 gotta let it go 했어 소개팅 데이팅 어플 다 깔아 또 보았어 반대가 끌린대 opposites attract Don't know about me and you yeah we fell into the cracks Yeah 갖고 너네 no cap 왜 난 안 보여 what's happening 객관적일 수가 없이 이미 game white flag and wave it fast Yeah I'm leaving back but 말해도 너만 보면 나도 내 맘 I don't know 이건 love a relationship 헷갈리기만 해 girl I'll tell you I'm sorry If you want me back I'll tell you stop trying Yeah, you got me Let it go 얼어붙어 like wow 띵하고 어지러워 I see 한여름에도 넌 겨울 Girl you cold-blooded Let it go 얼어붙어 like wow 띵하고 어지러워 I see 한여름에도 넌 겨울 Yeah, girl you cold-blooded Yeah, girl you cold-blooded Girl you cold-blooded Girl you cold-blooded Yeah, girl you cold-blooded Girl you cold-blooded Girl you cold-blooded
Everything about you perfectly undone.
Ladies and gentlemen, how are you tonight? It's good to see everybody. Glad that you guys are here. You guys come on in and get settled. I see we got some moderators and some good people here already. What's going on, everybody? Excuse the tardiness. I had some difficulties with Wirecast, and we're going to be switching over to a different system real soon. Real soon. But let me give a shout out to the people who are here. Excel, a member of the Sir Hill Circle, is in the building. Salute to you, nephew. Good to see you tonight. Good to see you tonight. Glad that you are here. Y'all show some love to I Excel. He is in the building. I see Lady Navola is in the building. How are you? Good to see you. Corey Hager's in the building. What's going on, Corey Hager? Good to see you. Ladies and gentlemen, SHSC, the creative space for Lady Hill, is in the building. What's going on with you, baby? What's going on with you, baby? All right, I see you. I see Big Bad Bull is in the building. What's going on with you? Good to see you, man. Glad you're here. Glad that you're here, Ronnie Hunter. Good to see you. The world's greatest Jenny Marina is in the building. What's going on with you? I seen your little podcast. What's up, my brother? Good to see you. Moderators, please be sure to drop that man's YouTube channel. Doing great things. A real big support. Thanks for being here, my brother. Quincy Freeman is in. Quincy Freer's son is in the building. Good to see you tonight. What's going on with you? Scam Likely. What's happening tonight? Good to see you. All right, y'all. Listen. If you guys can do me this favor, and let me know, first of all, if you guys can hear me clearly. And then number two, if you guys will be so kind to, if you have the ability to share this. Tonight, I used Eve for a subject. Well, let me pause for a second. I've been talking about relationships for a long time now. And there are some particulars that I noticed. And part of that is that in conversations we have, I noticed that we often go back to the story of Adam and Eve as a way to look at the nature of both men and women. In that when we have these conversations, generally, this is just what I see, this is just me, that 85% of the time, the conversation dips and the focus is on who was responsible. If you guys have heard these conversations, y'all know what I'm talking about. You know, was it Eve's fault? Was it Adam's fault? Who did it first, so on and so forth? And I thought this would be a good conversation for us to have to get some clarity and to pose a question, because if you grow up religious or around anybody who was, you hear things like there's nothing new under the sun. And certainly the behavior that we see exhibited in the book of Genesis in the beginning, I think chapter 3, when we look at the fall of man, certainly these behaviors aren't new. So looking at this conversation and asking ourselves a question when it comes to the ultimate responsibility in a marriage and in a relationship, what's the difference between responsibility and accountability? Y'all in the chat, do me a favor. I want you guys to take a few moments and let me know what the subtle difference is between accountability and responsibility. Y'all do me that favor really quickly. What is the subtle difference between responsibility and accountability? I think that little nuance in this makes a distinction as to whose fault it really was for the fall. So I named this show, what did I name this show? I named it The First Modern Woman, Access, Assignment, and Accountability. And I want to talk to my sisters tonight for a bit, and then I'm going to talk to my men. The first thing is, in a lot of relationships, we have trouble when it comes to the tenets that make relationships work. I don't know where this has come from. I have not been able to put my finger on it and to exact an answer. I just know that we simply have an issue. We have changing definitions of leadership. We have changing definitions of submission. There's a power struggle. And ultimately, when it comes to relationships, most of us just want to do what we want to do anyway. And we don't necessarily want to have governance and standards, because a lot of us, we fluctuate in terms of what we are today and our ability to get along with others. And we just want to be around somebody who just accepts that, because it's easier to be wishy-washy than it is to have standards. Does this make sense, everybody? Thank you, Lady Hell, for dropping the channel. Thank you guys for dropping a little podcast channel. Thank you so much for that. Bravo with Sheila. Ladies, let's chat is in here. Glad to see you tonight. Moderators, please drop a channel, as I know you guys will already. And so we see this. you speed this up into the conversations we have, and it's not just on YouTube. I think a lot of people, I think it just become a talking point where we think it's just YouTube. It's not just YouTube. YouTube just happens to be a medium, a melting pot where different people can come and have a conversation. But these conversations are going on everywhere: beauty salons and barbershops and churches, and in the home. And so, who's responsible? Who's accountable for things? What standards do we live by? If you live in the West, then certainly the definitions of marriage, relationships, family, gender roles, these things are changing. So what do we do about this? So if we're in a relationship and it's time for us to take some account for what's going on. If the relationship is going wrong, if we don't have roles, how do we work on the relationship? And this is not about blame. This is not about the man being able to say, well, it's your fault. If you were just more submissive, if you would just do what I say do and keep your mouth shut. It's not about that. It's not about women saying, well, you're supposed to be the head. You're supposed to be the man. It all falls on you. This is your fault. If something goes wrong, it's a reflection of your leadership. We're getting past that. We're getting past that. Because ultimately, and I'll break it down to you guys, responsibility and accountability go hand in hand. So when we talk about relationships and we look at the story of Adam and Eve, and the reason why I put Eve on this is because I think we don't talk enough about the significance of Eve's role on Adam. If we want to just ultimately say, and I'll start this off by saying this, if we wanted to say it was Adam's responsibility, so because he ate of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, he ate of the fruit, we failed because of Adam. If we want to say ultimately it was his responsibility, I'm going to say you're absolutely right. It was, so for everybody who's listening, it was Adam's fault. Own it. All right. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time getting to that point. It was Adam. If we want to just put it out there, the ultimate responsibility was on Adam because he was supposed to be responsible. But I want to spend a little bit of time on Eve because Eve had to be held accountable. And let me explain this to you. So, of course, you know the story. God makes man. He makes the whole world. He makes everything. And then he places man into a garden to till it, to take care of it. This is the story of Adam. So he makes man and then gives man assignment. And as he gives man assignment, he also gives man authority. So you have an assignment to do X, Y, and Z. This is to name the animals and manage the garden and so on and so forth. So the assignment was one thing, and then the authority to name, that means whatever he said goes. He gave him authority, and then kissed it by saying, I want you to have dominion. To have dominion. He didn't say take dominion. And the reason this is significant is because he didn't have to go in and wield his power. It was already given to him. All he had to do was walk in the authority that he already had. The beautiful thing about this is that because Adam was in control, because he had an assignment, he had authority, he had work to do, there was nobody to meet his social needs. So he can talk at animals and give commandments, but there was nobody social enough that had the social awareness, the emotional ability to relate to him on a level outside of work. So therefore, God says that it's not good for man to be alone. And when you look at the word alone, if you really break this word down, it's two words. The alone is really all one. So it's not good for man to be all one because he is made in the image and the likeness of God. And because God is one and man was made in his image, it's not good for man to be alone or all one. And so because of this, God takes Adam and puts him into a deep sleep so that he can do some work on him, some surgery. And everything that Adam would need in terms of his social life, in terms of his emotional life, somebody that he needed was inside of him. So God puts him to sleep, and he doesn't go find elements from someplace else. He goes and he takes a piece of Adam and he constructs woman. And the goal of woman was to be a helpmeet. Now, I want you guys to hear this. Fellas, I need you to hear what I'm getting ready to tell you. Because a lot of times we think that the only way that we can be in relationships and lead is if we are better than our wife in every area. But I'm getting ready to break something down to you. And ladies, I need you to hear this as well. So the goal of Eve was to be the helpmeet for Adam. I want you guys to hear what I'm getting ready to say. Anytime you are a help, that means you have more skill in an area than the person you're helping. That means that the person who needs the help has to have the ability to see that you have something that I need, that I value, that completes me in an area that I don't have. So help has to be more advanced in an area for it to be a help. Okay, hold on. Let me break that lesson. All right, y'all. Jedi, y'all hearing this? Shisha, you hearing this? Y'all back there? All right. Just making sure I got a couple people. So let me break this down again, because I think what we've done is we've taken this, men have got to be on their purpose, men have got to chase the bag, men have got to be the lead, and we do. Men have got to be the best. You got to be dominant in every area. And if you are dominant in every area, then you don't need a woman. If you are great at everything, you don't need help. And I think that a lot of men are unable to appreciate the role of a wife and what she does, is because somehow it's ingrained in us that you're not supposed to need. And now this is going to get a little touchy, because I know we're in the generation now where I don't need nobody, especially when I don't need nobody. But in order for somebody to need help, you have to first identify that there is a need. Man, this is getting ready to get good, y'all. So one of the manosphere talking points is that I don't need you for nothing. I'll do everything. But the real truth is, men who are doing something significant understand that if I have a woman in my life, then she possesses something that I need. And I'm going to tell you about the 4 eyes that every man needs. Y'all, this is getting good, y'all. This is getting, y'all, listen, y'all, if you guys haven't already share this, and I'm getting ready to talk about this, the 4 eyes that men need. Shout out to Hakeem with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. I'm going to give you the song in just a bit. The 4 eyes that women bring that men need. The first one is she brings a level of insight. So while men are responsible for foresight, this is why generally when you see men, you hear men talking about the future in big terms, about vision. They vision cast. They have things that they want to get done. And so they're looking at things on a grander scale, while a lot of women, and this is, there's differences. There's, it's not all even, but generally women are thinking about the details inside, because women generally bring a level of insight to a man's life, things that he didn't see internally she is aware of, which is why women talk about their intuition. It is because it is a gift that God gives women to pair, to connect with their men, to give them a level of insight to strengthen the vision that he casts. That's so we've got insight. The next one is inspiration, right? The woman that a man needs who provides value inspires him. She doesn't use her words to belittle him. She doesn't use her words to bring him down. Matter of fact, let's not even just use words. She doesn't use her attitude. She doesn't use her demeanor. She doesn't use her mood. She doesn't weaponize her femininity, because she realizes that who she is innately is of such that she can bring a level of inspiration to her man. So when he's around and she's enters into his presence, she's aware of him. If the temperature is off, or if the atmosphere of the house is down, she is aware of his temperament. Baby, you're not looking the same. Like you acting off today. Something ain't right. Because she brings life. Think about it. She's a womb. She's an incubator. She is responsible for taking the seed that he gives and magnifying that exponentially, because she's an incubator of life. And so it makes sense that she's in a level of inspiration, because it was who she was created to be. Now, I know the feminists are going to be upset. I'm more than my womb. I'm more than having babies. Yeah, shut up. This ain't that string. She brings a level of inspiration. The third thing, so I told you guys, so the first thing is she brings insight, inspiration. The third eye is she brings integrity. Now, integrity, we think of just somebody who's doing things that's just morally correct. And certainly integrity does play a part in this. Integrity, however, is much deeper than just you simply doing the right things, right? Integrity is providing a level, watch this, of strength. So when you walk up a set of stairs or you sit in a chair, your mind assumes that the integrity or the strength of the structure of the steps or the chair is strong enough to handle your weight. And so when a man relies on a woman, what our minds believe as time goes on is that our wives possess a level of integrity and strength that can handle the weight of the man that I am, the purpose that I hold. Are y'all getting this tonight, y'all? Y'all listen, y'all talk to me tonight. Y'all quiet tonight. Now, I normally don't do a Bible study, but I felt the need to break this all the way down. Y'all let me know if y'all hear me tonight. Y'all talk back to me tonight. Right? Normally I have a different conversation, but I like to put things into context. And I think that somehow in these conversations about relationships, we're missing the benefit of each other in our lives. And so I need to break this down. And so a woman who is a woman of integrity possesses a level of strength that a man can rest in her. So this point about men need women to be weak is complete baloney, because men who have purpose and value understand that if I didn't need you, God wouldn't have created you. Listen, I'm leaving. I'm done. I'm back. If I didn't need you, then God wouldn't have created you. So the fact that you were here is not just for my pleasure, it's for my life. In other words, if for the fellas, if you've got the right woman in your life, she's not just there for your convenience, she's there for your purpose. And if she has integrity, that means not only does she bring insight, not only does she bring inspiration, but she brings a level of strength that your manhood can relax and rest in. In other words, I don't have to be Superman when I come home to my wife, because she understands that she's not falling in love with what I do. She's here to support who I am. And her job is not to support what the world sees. Her job is to support what the world can't see: the heart, the engine, the motive, the vision, what makes the man the man. See, a lot of you fellas, the reason why our relationships fail is because we end up and we marry our fans. We marry people who like the status and who like our jobs and like the money and like the way that we look, like our stature. And by the time you get old enough, you start to realize that you don't want a woman. If you know that woman is just there for your stuff, you'll toy with her. You'll toy with her. You'll pick her up. You'll put her down. You know, you'll call her when you want her. You don't call her when you don't. But when you have a woman of substance, this is the reason why men get so territorial when we're with the woman that we love. It's not that we're being possessive, it's we're being protective. I'm going to treat my house a lot different than I would a hotel room, because my home is where my investment is. It's where my value is. A hotel, I'm just written out for the night. And a lot of ladies, because you don't know your value and men don't understand their purpose, we connect ourselves to hotel rooms. This is why we hook up, and this is why we get women. This is why we exchange and we go from one to one, is because you have a history of hotels. You haven't invested in a home. And so by the time you meet a woman who wants that home and you're used to hotels, you guys have a conflict, because what you're conditioned for is, now listen, y'all don't think you guys are ready for this tonight. You guys want me to get on here and talk about how terrible women are and tell you how bad men are, and y'all want me to go off on somebody. Y'all not ready for this real. If y'all ready for this real, y'all talk to me tonight. We giving it to you real, and I'm coming to you this way because I don't want to come off as religious and to isolate people who can extrapolate from the simple principles of this scripture, and we just dismiss the meat of it. So I'm trying to break it down as simple as possible. So because she's a woman of integrity, he can rest in her. He don't have to, always be domineering every time. No, he can rest. But ladies, is not that he should just be able to rest. Can he rest in you? Or does he have to rival with your masculinity? See, a lot of you want a man when you behave like one. A lot of you want a man to always be on his game, and you want to pick and choose when you're submissive. You want to pick and choose when you're kind and when you're sweet. And it doesn't work that way. You don't get to tell a man that you have to always be a leader. You have to be 100%, and then you choose days when you're going to give 80%. You have to be the equivalent to what he is to keep that balance. And this is not, I'm not talking about activities. I'm talking about heart. And this is so hard because in our humanness, we want to do what we want to do. It's hard to have a standard because some days you don't want to be nice. Some days you don't want to be calm. Some days you want to act a straight up fool, and wish a Negro would say something. But even in that, you have to choose, even in those days, if you're having an off day, communicate that. But a man should not subject his wife to bad behavior just because he can, and neither should a wife. So if you want a man, be the equivalent woman to the type of man you want. You can't be loud and aggressive and popping your neck and finger and neck rolls, and every time you got to get him together. That ain't your job. Because if you were doing your job, listen, there were some things your finger can't do, but your integrity will. Y'all listen, y'all hear what I said? There's a neck roll. There's something your neck roll can't. There were some things that who you are at your core would do a lot more of an effective job than your attitude will. It is that we resort to our attitude because it's a quick high. It's a quick ego win. You told him, you let him have it. Girl, he know not to play with you. And what you don't realize is why you won the moment. You won the moment. You're great at winning moments. But that seed is an investment. The same thing it is with the fellas. You can yell at your woman, you can talk over her, you can be domineering, and you can win the moment. But do you want to win the moment, or do you want to have a good life? And so a lot of us, because we are conditioned to win and to go let people know how we done told and how we done put our foot down, we got these stories and these tales about how we pop off. And the reason why you can't keep a man, my sister, is because all you do is pop off. Listen, y'all, if you guys haven't shared this tonight, y'all go ahead and share this. We saving marriages tonight. We're building relationships tonight. So this is that real. Lady, the reason you can't keep a husband, or the reason why your husband is contemplating leaving, ain't because he don't love you. It's because you pop off. You say you a Christian. You're more mouthy than you are prayerful. You are quicker to cuss than you are to compliment. You are quicker to tell him about himself than you are to talk to him. Your attitude is always on 10 and you don't know how to come down and bring it down. But yet you want people to believe that you're this model believer, and that people should listen to you when you talk about God. Well, listen, no one wants to hear your sermon when your lifestyle doesn't match. You can't be one way behind the scenes, and then when you turn on the camera, a lot of people, if you guys know, you guys have been around the YouTube sphere, you guys are going to hear people's names. People are going to talk about people. People are going to say stuff. And it's normal. People are going to say, that's what people are human. They're going to say stuff. But you start looking at people's life. Look at what they always talk about on the phone, off the phone, on YouTube, off Twitter, on Instagram, and you're going to see a consistency. See, a lot of us, we don't practice anytime you hear people always being critical about somebody else, that means you're not practicing. Because people who walk in power don't walk in criticism. We walk and we try to help. And if you're not trying to help, it's because you don't have the insight, you don't have the integrity, and you don't have the inspiration. All right. So y'all got this. So the first one, so I got one more eye, and then I'm going to go to the men, then I'm going to open up the call lines and bring up my beautiful guests. So God gives woman the insight, he gives her inspiration, he gives her integrity. But here's a big thing that I need you guys to understand that God gives women, and it's influence. A beautiful content creator by the name of Security Boss did a good job of listing this about the influence, and I want to expound on that a little bit more. Influence is the ability to not dominate somebody, but to be persuasive. And influence can be used for good or for bad. Influence can be where I'm influencing you if let me give you one. So I just wanted to do radio. I just wanted to be behind a microphone and I wanted to do radio. My wife influenced me and said, baby, your voice, what you have to say should be global. She said, babe, because I didn't come up on camera. I didn't come up doing this. I wasn't always, I like to think that I'm somewhat well-spoken, but I wasn't always here. It was easy for me to be off camera behind a microphone and talk. But my wife said to me, babe, you have the charisma, you have the character, you have the heart, you have the stage presence. You should be seen. So try doing this. So she influenced me here. Here's that influence to do what I want to do. I'm on the microphone, but I'm doing it at a different velocity because of the influence of my wife. You see what influence does? It doesn't force a man to do anything, but it helps a man to understand and see his potential with a level of insight that he wouldn't have seen before. And it multiplies his reach because of the power of her. Listen, I might turn this to members only tonight. I can't give this away for free. She influences her man in such a way that his life is better and he finds himself capable of doing more. It was already in him, but he's doing more, not because he didn't know, but because his wife inspired him. She was a place of integrity. She had a level of insight, and she used who she was as an influencer to him to make him do better. And this is why, let me bring it back to the story. This is why God holds Eve accountable. Because while he gives man the authority, the ultimate say-so, he gives woman the ability to be persuasive. And accountability and authority go hand in hand. So the reason why both of them have to be penalized for their behavior, and why we blame Adam, is because ultimately, while the responsibility is on the man for what happened, she has to be held accountable, because while he has authority, she has influence. And influence can make you do things that power can't. All right, guys, I'm gonna open up the call line. Tell me what you guys think about this. What do you guys think about this monologue? Did you guys hear what I said tonight? Do you guys disagree? You guys agree? Thank you, Excel, for the super chat tonight. I truly appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Tonight, I'm bringing this up, everybody, because we got to get past the point where we are arguing with stupid talking points. And I want wives who want to be wives and women who are wives to understand that you wield a level of influence over your man. And that men who are on here, particularly men who are trying to have a conversation to have better relationships, men are not on here whining. We're on here, and if you listen at a deeper level, we're telling you how much influence you have. And we're steadily over here fighting, going back and forth as to, well, I'm not going to be this kind of woman. I'm not going to be this, and you're supposed to be this leader. Listen, man down. Fellas in here, listen, just typing this man down. All my sisters, all my headstrong sisters who got to have the last word, who feel the need to, I'm going to show him that, y'all type this man down, man down. You got too much energy, man down, calm down, man down. Because the more masculine you are, masculine women attract more feminine men. And so you can't complain that he not no leader. All right, I don't know how deep I should go with this tonight. I don't know. I think I've done enough damage, guys. Tomorrow I might not have a channel. I don't know how you guys got another 3 minutes for me to get this last point out. If you guys got another few minutes, just put that in the chat. Let me know you guys got a few more minutes. I want to know. All right. Okay, I see a couple of people in here. All right, let me see what I'm seeing in my back chat. Okay, good. Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, good. Okay, guys, excellent. So I'm gonna give you this last couple points, then I'm gonna stop. I got a whole lot that I could go down, but I'm only gonna give a little bit tonight because I want to respect my guest time and I want to not be on here for the rest of the night. Ladies, you don't understand that some of you, what you call tough, is really out of control chaos. Now, I know that that's an interesting concept, but you're out of control in terms of your chaos. And because, particularly if you are a woman who has some level of attraction, because you get tension at a velocity, you're not forced to have to work on your heart and on your appreciation. You know how when you constantly get something, you kind of stop appreciating. Now let me get hood for a second. Let me get hood and then I'm gonna get professional real quick. This is gonna be terrible. I'm gonna get hood. This is gonna be so. This is hood. This is terrible. You know how some people get food stamps, and they get like $500, $600, $700, $800 in food stamps, and they just over there when they go to the store, they go into the gas station where it says accepts EBT, and they buying Cheetos and they buying Sour Patch Worms, they buying the gummy worms, the gummy bears. They getting Sprite, they getting those Faygo drinks. They got the honey buns, the oatmeal cream pie, the Star Crunchers. I'm not saying I know nothing about that. I'm not saying I know about that. The names just happen to randomly come to me. So they are there buying, Cheetos and Hot Flames and you know what I mean? And, buying sodas and stuff. And what's supposed to be used to provide nutritious meal, because you don't have to work for it. You just spin it and you just go, yeah, give me some chips. Get me some, you know what I mean? Give me a Star Crunch. Go give me one of them lemon pies. Go give me one of them apple pies, the ones in the little box. Well, give me one of them Hostess cakes. Go give me one of them little Danishes with the strawberry in there. Dang, I'm having good memories. I'm having flashbacks. So, we go back and we go to the store and we get stuff that's not good for us. And then something happens and you don't go to the office and you don't, re-sign for those food stamps. And so you miss food stamps for a month unless you go back and file an emergency claim. And suddenly you realize that the food stamps that you wasted, it's a whole lot different when you have to budget and it's coming out off of the dollars you earned. This is how some women treat men. You treat men like you own food stamps because you get so much attention. You don't develop an appreciation. Man, I'm leaving it. I just don't listen. I don't know how much of this to give you tonight. And so because you treat men like food stamps because you get so much of it, you don't have to take the time to appreciate it. Because for right now, you have an unlimited supply until that supply is out. And you start to realize that sometimes it's good to not have an abundance of something, because when you have to work for it and you have to develop, it gives you a different level of appreciation. And this is why so many women, you can't appreciate men because you've never had to do the work it takes to keep one, because you get men like you get food stamps. And what I'm saying to those kind of women is every now and again, it's good to take a pause and to stop and to truly ask yourself, are you the type of woman that if your son was to present to you, you would be 100% fine with? Have you developed the character to appreciate a man in your life, not just for his money, but for his heart? Oh man, I can't say stuff like this. I can't say stuff like heart. I can't say stuff like heart, because this is manosphere stuff. Can you appreciate that man's heart? Can you appreciate his authority? Not his command over you, but his authority in life. Y'all know when there's a man of authority in the room. Y'all know when a man shows up. Y'all know when a man shows up. As masculine as you want to act, you're going to sit your tail down. You're going to be quiet. You're going to be submissive because a man of authority is in there. Unless you just want to be rebellious. And now, I'm sorry. Hold on, babe. Hold on, babe. Your phone is in here, love. I tell you, Pete, man, this is some ghetto stuff. See, this is what happened when you talk about food stamps. You talk about food stamps and ghetto stuff start happening. So a lot of our women haven't taken the time to develop the character to appreciate a man and his intrinsic worth, his authority, his integrity, his foresight. Women inside his foresight, his strength. A lot of you are, man, this is, all right, 2 more minutes and I'm done, guys. Like for real, 2 more minutes. A lot of masculine women need weak men to justify them being masculine. Should I stop now? All right, dang. So a lot of women get weak men so that they can justify their masculine behavior. And they get the sex out of him. He's man enough to screw, but he's not man enough to be submitted to. And this is why oftentimes you will hear, and if you hear people, and don't take nobody's word for it, go look at their life. Like let them show you, because anybody can talk, but look at their history. Go look at their history. Look at their history. You will start to see that a lot of people get the problem and then try to change the problem because it's easier to get a problem and to change the problem than it is to work on yourself. So what I'm saying to you, it's easy for a masculine woman to get a weaker man and to say, I was trying to work on him. I was seeing the potential in him. I was trying to pull out the goodness in him and the greatness in him. But you knew deep down who he was to begin with. You were trying to change him as a way to deflect from the change you need to make on yourself. I'm going to tell you something. Feminine women don't have any problem getting men. Okay, one more minute, and then I'm going to say this and I'm going to be done. Feminine women get men. A lot of you women just getting dicks. Okay, I got to go. Listen, I'm messing up tonight, guys. I'm messing up. Like, let me try to keep it dignified and correct to some degree, because a lot of y'all get dick. You can have a dick and that dick not be attached to a man, and this is why some of you talk about how much of it you get, but when we go back and we look at the history of your relationships, you got the peen, but that peen didn't come with authority. It didn't come with foresight. It didn't come with power. And you're bragging on the peen, and that peen don't have purpose. And it's the same thing on the opposite. A lot of you men will get a woman who has not done the work, and you will spend your time trying to change her because it's easier to work on her as a project than it is for you to work on yourself for your purpose. And this is why I wanted to bring this conversation to us tonight. Because wives who want to be wives, you have to put yourself in a position to be the type of wife equivalent to the type of man you want. And women who take the time to work on their femininity and their heart and their character, and it doesn't mean you are pushed over that or that you're weak. I told you it's integrity, your place of strength. But you're working on yourself because life is hard and no one wants to go through life with somebody they got to fight with. So ladies, I appreciate you guys listening. Fellas, I appreciate you guys hearing me. Let me know what you guys think about this conversation tonight as I bring up our guests and we talk about what I've talked about tonight. Are you guys ready for this? Let me play this super chat song for all those who gave. Friendsgiving, thank you so much for coming in tonight. and dropping this 50 bomb, the people who count my super chats are going to be upset with this tonight. Thank you so much for the $50 super chat. I truly appreciate you. And tonight, guys, if you guys want to support this platform and you want to hear more content like this, everything that you give, it really does go back into this channel. There's only a few people that I've shown this to, but as much as you guys see come in, I likely give that back out as well to support other content creators because I believe in support. So thank you so much. This means a lot to me, this $49.99 super chat. Thank you so much, Friendsgiving. I truly appreciate your heart and your support. Thank you guys for our members and our moderators and those who give. I thank you so much. Let me play this super chat song. And when I come back, I'm going to bring up our guests and we're going to get deeper into this conversation. All right? Here we go with the super chat song right now.
Pick it up, super chat. Pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Ooh, I've been on the flex since flex on. Neighborhood all in your eardrums. I ain't never scared like Bone Crush. Boy, I got God, don't fear none. My line busy, take no calls. Feels like I don't have no flaws. Snakes in the grass, cut those off. Yo, squad shitty, my bros raw.
All right, guys, let's bring up these beautiful guests tonight. Yeah, my Negro coming out tonight. I can't control it. The Negro in me is coming out tonight, and I can't control it. So let me breathe for a second. All right, I'm back. All right, let me bring up my guest really. Let me bring up my guest real quick. Listen, y'all in the chat. Y'all in the chat. Y'all just hum with me for a second. Y'all just type the say, come on back, Sir Hale. Come on back, Sir Hale. Come on back. Come on back. I'm on the way back, y'all. All right. Let me bring up my beautiful guest really quickly. And shout out to the information man who's in the building. Good to see you. Good to see you tonight, sir. Glad you're here. All right. Thank you, Lady Hale. Listen, if I ain't got one witness, I got one. Thank you so much, Lady Hale, with the Thank you so much, Excel. Thank you. Information man. Information man said, come on back. All right, y'all, listen. I appreciate y'all being here. Let me bring up my beautiful guest really quickly. No, hello. Look, the real Erica got the music notes. And immediately following the real Erica, Luke Kaisley comes in and she's giving me a come on, Luke Kaisley. Thank you so much. I appreciate the support tonight. Good to see you tonight. Glad that you're here. All right, so listen. So I'm going to open up the call line. I'm going to bring up a panel. And if you want to touch on this subject, particularly my ladies, I need you to hear me. The reason why it's so important for us to hear you is because Negro, come back in. Listen, the reason why it's important for women to hear other women is because me as a man, people assume that I'm coming off and I'm being abrasive. And I have to admit, I'm passionate about what I believe in, and sometimes it comes off as forceful. But I'm not speaking this because I'm trying to come off and hit people. This is important to me. And I need other beautiful women. And I tell you, beauty and ugliness is not about the way you look, it's about who you are at your heart. I need people, particularly my women, to call in and to add credibility to what I'm talking about so that other women who have other negative women in their ears saying, girl, you don't need to hear that. You don't need to listen to that. Girl, do you. Girl, do you. Girl, you can go out here get 10 body, go have hot girl summer. Girl, go do it. Ain't nobody gonna care, girl. If he can't handle that, that's because he insecure. He got a little dicky. Y'all know, if he really cared, if he was really who he was, you know, if he got a little dicky energy. Hey, little dicky. Hey, little dicky. Hey, little dicky. Hey, you know he got a little dicky. If he had a big D, then he wouldn't even be worried about you because he's walking. But because he got a little D, he concerned. You know they're gonna drop you. You can't be around women if you want to be a wife around women who drop men, who go about their little dicky and their reputation and their opinion and their pride. So I need women who are good women who want to be wives, who don't mind saying I'm submissive, who don't mind saying I'm feminine, who don't mind saying I like having my husband, who don't mind saying I need my man. I need women like you to come up here and just lend your voice so that we can make healthy normal. All right. So let me do this. Let me bring up my first beautiful guest. Shushu's in the building. She is here. Hey, Shushu, how are you?
I'm good. I was backstage. I'm talking about dying. You hear me? Yo.
Listen, I love it. And not only did you say it, but it ministered to my soul.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Listen, let me bring up her brother, Mandrell. He's in the building. My bro, what's going on with you?
Hey everyone.
Good to see you, man. Thanks for being here.
All right.
Let me bring up my guy, Jedi Mike, who is in the building. My brother, what's up, man?
How you doing?
I am fantastic. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Excellent. Absolutely. Yeah, I know I got to bring up my one and only, my bro. Black Man Unfiltered is in the building. What's up, my brother?
Hallelujah. Touch your neighbor and tell your neighbor it's time. The show is about to take a turn.
Yeah. Pass the collection plate.
Yeah, where's that? Get the plate around on this side.
Well, listen, guys. So you guys are here. You guys heard most of what I said, and whether you agree or not on a biblical level, in terms of principles, hold on. I'm struggling streaming. Hold on a second. You guys, let me know. What did you guys think about the monologue? What did you guys agree with or disagree with? What's your perspective?
Ladies first.
Yes.
Oh, so y'all put me on spot. So I agree with. I think you were dead on. I agree with a lot of your points. And it's funny because when you were talking about like women who are quote unquote in their masculine energy, a lot of that, you do have a lot of women who have controlling tendencies and where, they have to control everything. A lot of times those women have control issues. And it's funny because oftentimes it's like when a man comes in and asserts himself, asserts his authority or his power, they do like back down. It's always like when a guy comes in and he's like, more so meek, or like humble, they tend to kind of run over those type of guys. So a woman can be submissive, but not submissive in the sense of like slavery, I guess you could say. And I think it more so we do need to start rethinking or reassociating the word submit with the act of benevolence, servitude in a certain sense of benevolence and not servitude in the sense of slavery. That's what I'm trying to say. So I think a lot more women would be on board with the idea of submission if it were thought of in that sense. It's service in the sense of benevolence. So I think that's part of the fight we have. But in terms of like what a woman is to a man, being inspirational, being influential, we're definitely that. And all your other points, they were dead on point. Yeah. So.
Mm-hmm.
You're muted, brother.
Yep. I'm looking. It's like my network is tanking tonight, and I'm not sure why this is. But it's okay. We're going to keep on going with the show. But ladies and gentlemen, for everybody who's watching this,
you conjure the spirit of the hood, dude, of the ghetto.
Yeah, one that doesn't pay his internet
I just want everybody to know.
One that doesn't pay his internet bill.
Now, I want everybody to know this really quickly, is that this is about to happen. Ladies and gentlemen, this show just took a turn. All right, ladies who are watching this, who want to be wives, we're going to purge the feminism out of you tonight. We're going to lay hands and cast the feminism out of you tonight. Can your hands and receive this on tonight.
Head on both sides.
Hold on.
First, can I say this? Can I say this about
I got two people I know in the back chat. They'll lift their hands to the screen. Hold on a second.
He anoint my head with oil. From the
My
crown of his
cups.
head to the sole of his feet. In
Yeah.
Jesus' name.
This
You
can't
already
say
did.
this about
Hey,
feminism.
Jedi,
Just
you got
listen.
hey, I got the water right here, Jedi.
Hold on, guys.
I
Let
got
me
some
read
too.
this.
Wait,
Oh my gosh,
pass it over.
Information Man sends a $25 super chat. Thank you so much, sir. He says, my great brother, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Moderators, please drop this great man's channel tonight. I had the privilege of being on his show on
Next in
Sunday.
line.
Had a fantastic conversation. Thank you so much for allowing me to come on your platform and for always supporting. I truly look up to you and I'm inspired by all the great things you're doing. So thank you so much for this. You get the super chat song, and then when we come back, we're going to start laying hands and casting out feminism and all the masculine women. So we'll be right back right after this.
Super chat.
So thank you guys so much. Big Ed Bull, good to see you, man. I thank you so much. Please hit that like button on your way in, guys. But here's, I want the ladies who are on here who want to be wives to repeat after me. I don't mind being submissive. Just if you're on here, just y'all type it, say it. I don't mind being submissive.
Sir Hale, you hear that?
Turn to your neighbor.
You hear that, Sir Hale?
I don't hear it, y'all. What is it?
They cussing your ass out.
Listen, you guys in here say, I don't mind being submissive, because let me tell you why some of you ladies are not submissive and why you have a problem. You've never went through what you're mad about. Your mother, your aunties, your sisters gave you a narrative that you embodied. And any man in your life that you've been with who's given you an inkling of what they dealt with, it made you believe that the way you see submission was right. You got borrowed trauma. It ain't even yours.
Oh.
You got borrowed anger. This ain't even yours. And the reason why you can't have the love you want to have is because you're living your life because you're in allegiance to what's bad for you, and you can't even connect to him. And listen, I give my own self a handcuff on that. And sometimes you have to say, and this is why I love Security Boss's story, that they took some time away from everybody so that they could connect. Some of y'all are more married to your girlfriends than you are to your man.
Order by soda.
He's your girlfriends give you a financial advice, they give you advice on what to wear and how to think on where you should go and how you talk to your kids. You confide more in your girls than you do in your man. And the reason why you've got hell in your household is because you're bringing outside elements into an institution that's supposed to be between you two. And so sometimes you have to take a step back and say that this is me and my man, and I've got to put some things in perspective. Does that make sense? What do you guys think about that? And while you're talking, I'm going to bring up my big bro, Dre Blanco is in the building, and I got to bring up the president of the Dustosphere, Scam Likely, is in the building. What's going on?
All is well. Good evening, everyone.
Hey, very good to see you.
Mm-hmm.
I had to jump on this one, man, because when it comes to submitting, marriage, you know what I'm saying? I've been married 11 years, currently separated, but still friends. But the thing is, submission like it's a cuss word, because what most feminists believe submission is. It's not what men are looking for. Do you know what do you know what it looks like to be cooperative? That means not arguing or being divisive just for the sake of doing it, just because you want to be a juvenile. Mm-hmm. Adults talk it out, children act out, and when you start acting a certain way, most women start looking immature, and it's a turn off. All a man wants is for you to sit down and be cooperative, be affectionate, be in tune with your man. That's submission. Understanding what he wants before he even tells you. That's being in tune. Like, I know what my woman likes. I know what she enjoys. I know she had a hard day. Before I even say anything, she had the bath ran with her favorite bubble bath and her candle lit. That's being in tune.
Right.
But when a man leads, you have to understand and have faith that if you want to have children with this man, that this is a person that's going to lead you to the right direction, which means that you have to trust him with your finances, that instead of, just paying the bills, You watching your finances grow. You watching, things that you never dreamed of happening. And I have my theory. It's my theory, but I think the reason why a lot of women want men that make six figures is to mask their financial irresponsibility. That's why their money is their money and our money is their money. They want to be able to spend whatever they want to spend on themselves, and just to know that the man is paying all the bills, so they're not responsible for it. That's where the disconnect comes in, where you want to be partners, but you don't want to have partners in the responsibility. You want everything on our shoulders, but then when you date somebody who's irresponsible, you put us all in a box and say that all men are this and all men are that, and we need this and we need that. That is not the case. Let your fears go. Eliminate the friends that really don't have your best interest in heart, because at the end of the day, and Shahel will tell you, you're the most important person you know. Your happiness is your happiness, and only you can make yourself happy. All I can do is just add value to your life, and you can do the same to me. That's what you bring to the table: your value, your femininity, and your cooperative. And my job is to protect you from yourself and from the outside entities.
I agree with you. I do. I just think that
Shout out to Dre. Excellent stuff.
Using this term submit is because I mean, bottom line is this: I think the reason why we even use the term submit is because it's used in the Bible, right? And really, what the Bible means by submit is like in a particular Bible verse, it's more so compromise, right? And right from what I'm hearing, what I'm understanding, really what men want is cooperation. So I don't know, maybe y'all need to start using the term cooperate instead.
Let me respond.
Because by definition, it does mean.
See what it is we're trying to water down the word. This is why I said, ladies, I need you to repeat after me.
Oh Lord.
Because if we're gonna say if we're gonna say the only reason we say submission is because in the Bible, so is love, so is integrity, so is kindness, right? So we don't just use it because it's in the Bible. We use it because this is what we should be. Here's the thing, though. Here's what I think it is, and I'll tell you. I think submission. People think that it speaks to your worth. So if you're submitted, then you're less than somebody. And that's not what submission is. Submission means
by definition, no, that's what it means. That's what it means.
No, but I'm saying it not value. It's in position. So Let me give you one. If a fight breaks out and I tell you to duck, I'm telling you to get down. You're lowering yourself, but you're not being lowered because you are low. You're lowering because I'm keeping you protected from something I don't want you to have to experience. So if that's how humility is, humility doesn't mean it speaks to who you are as a person. It's a position. But the same thing it is with leadership, because I say leadership all the time ain't about power and being dominant. It's about service to others. And so even in leadership, now we want to talk about leadership and service. What's the root word of service? Servant.
To serve.
You see what I'm saying? So we both have a role to play in that. And the true thing is it takes humility to be submissive, just like it takes humility to be a leader. Right? Anybody want to respond to that?
Yeah, I do. I think that I was watching Major Payne the other day, and Major Payne was upstairs, and a young lady comes in and says, "You need to talk to the little boy." And Major Payne said, "I'm not going to talk to him because he needs to grow up." He said, but this is what he said. He said, "Take your titty out his mouth and stop babying him," right? The reason that he said that is because he wanted the young man to become confident within himself, to face his fears, right? I think that's what we're doing when we're taking the word submission and we're trying to water it down to make women feel good about it. If a woman, like they said with women, like they said with men, we have to be accountable as well. But when it comes to men, there are certain terms that women use for men in leadership that we just accept what it is. But when it comes to submission, it's such a bad word. We don't want to use it no more. It's not okay to say it. Don't say it because women gonna get upset. They're gonna be mad. Don't you use that word? It's a word. That word is the enemy, and it's not. And if a woman has a problem with it, then maybe like Mandrell said last night, if men have a problem with this, then you're not a husband. So today we'll say if a woman has a problem with this, you're not a wife. If you have a problem with the word and it has to be watered down to make you feel good about being a wife, you're not a wife. Mandrell said it about the men last night. We'll say it about the ladies today. Right, Mandrell?
Yeah, absolutely. Because like I said, for those of you who missed it, Luke Hazley, I only say it because I miss you, Luke Hazley. I haven't seen you in a while. I haven't seen you in my chat in a while. I love you, Luke Hazley. You know that. But no, yeah, I went through that whole thing to let women know that what they're asking for doesn't exist. Like if you're a masculine woman, a masculine man is not going to put up with that. He's just going to leave. That's why you all end up with masculine women end up with beta males, because those are the only guys who are they're okay with it. They're okay with the attitude. They're with you for whatever the reasons are. You know what I'm saying? And fellas, y'all need prayer. But,
They do. They do. They do.
So my thing is, I mean, yeah, everything was in the broadcast last night, you know, and
I'm going to get into this in a second.
We can't
But
blame
before we go,
the
let me get Jedi Mike and then Dre Blanco wants to get in here.
Yeah, I just kind of like want to acknowledge just like one of the points that you made in your monologue, because you talked about, the difference between, responsibility and accountability, emphasizing that. And the thing is, the main difference between responsibility and accountability is that responsibility can be shared while accountability cannot, right? And what you see in a lot of situations, that being accountable not only means being responsible for something, but also ultimately being answerable for your actions, right? And like also accountability is something that you hold on a person to only after a task is done or not done. So, i.e., if something went to success or if it led to a failure, who's accountable? But responsibility can come before or after a task, right? I.e., like, hey, we're both responsible of like maintaining, how we, like, for example, just like you can look at a small task as like chores, cleaning up something. We're responsible for this house that we're taking care of. Or we're raising children. We're responsible for it. But if it led to onto a particular person, like who's accountable for when things don't go their way? What you see, unfortunately, a lot, in marriages or broken relationships, is that we don't see that type of accountability mostly on women's side, when they don't want to then at least be not just being lack of self-awareness. They generally want to be honest with themselves, like, hey, I have a part to play in this, i.e. like not refusing to listen, and yet expecting having unrealistic expectations that I don't even hold to myself, and I'm expecting someone else to do it for me, right? I.e., for you being a whole individual, being emotionally controlled, you also just seeking happiness within yourself, right? And the thing about this is that when you have those things lacking, especially women, it's so crucial, because you guys have such a strong influence against men you don't even realize. You have so much power when you use it to the best of your ability, but ultimately for the greater good. That when you're influencing a man, that's gonna be him being a overproducer, because you have been a positive influence in his life. But if you see a negative influence, then you get some of the very men you complain about. So I think we're talking about accountability. You made a very good point, Sir Hale, about addressing that. But then going to the term about submission and everything, about definitions and everything. Yes, I understand that people want to use that, the term that, because honestly, on both sides of the argument, people use it just for entitlement or use it just to belittle people, so they can just get their own way. So at least we can just acknowledge that some folks, they're saying, oh yeah, please submit, but I have and nothing for you to submit to, because again, it's an equal relationship, because you have to have some type of security in order to do that. But at the same time, sometimes you see situations with men who are the leaders and bury the men they say, and yet they still can't even get a little bit ounce of respect. So that's the thing. It goes both ways here.
Sir, can I say one thing? Okay.
Yeah. Before we do this, I'm gonna say this real quick. Get the super chat, and then Black Man, and then I gotta welcome out my guy. I see your little podcast.
What's up, bro?
Dre Blanco, I know you wanted to say something as well. But guys, hear this. I hear a lot of ladies here. He got to be submitted to God. He can't love me until he's submitted to God.
Come on, man.
Right.
Okay,
So-
how do you know?
Hold on. He's got to be submitted to God.
Mhm.
right? So if he's got to be submitted to God, then what's the issue being submitted to a man submitted to God? See, I think that we expect men. I think we expect men to model excellence in every area, and we want to negotiate when it comes to our women. And I think that we have to get out of the place where I'm negotiating leadership. And right, in other words, if she's this way, if she gives me what I need, then I'll do this. And conversely, the same thing with women. If he gives me this, then I'll be this. No negotiations. Be what you're supposed to be, because you're showing seeds into what that marriage is supposed to be. All right. Let me get this the super chat. Let me show some respect. 25 super chat to Ronnie Hunter. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And we got a new member of the channel. Shout out to Denitra Deezum. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate you. Welcome to Sir Hell's Network. We're so y'all in the chat. Can we show some love? Can we show some respect to the new member of the channel? Thank you so much. Truly appreciate you guys. Okay, so let's do this really quickly. Black Man Unfiltered wanted to say something, and then we're gonna get to Dre Blanco, and then we're gonna go to I Sing Your Little Podcast, and then y'all jump in from there.
Yeah, I want to say this on a serious tip. When we get in marriages and relationships and we talk about submission, if a man and a woman are together, the woman is created to help the man. Is that correct? Sir Hell, I want to do a back and forth with you real quick. Is the woman was created to do what? From what we believe. Not everybody believes this, but what from a biblical standpoint, what was the woman created for?
I'm not sure what you're asking. Yeah, so from the Bible, she's made to be a helpmeet.
To help. Okay. So my thing is this: if you're married and you're in a group of women and you're talking about my husband ain't shit, he ain't on his grind, he ain't on his purpose, you are a reflection of your husband. If your husband ain't shit, you ain't either. Because it's your job to help your husband get to where he is. Some women can elevate their husband. We talked about this Tuesday. The women on the panel said, I can put a battery in my husband back and he'll run through a wall. All I got to do is tell him how good he is, how great he is. I can motivate him every day. If your husband ain't shit, you ain't either, because then y'all just two people that ain't shit, because you're supposed to help your husband. If your husband's down, you lift him up. Just like when you down, you want him to lift you up. Right? It's a leadership thing, but you got to be there for your man. Every great leader had bad moments where they needed somebody to come in and step in and help. So if your man ain't nothing, you need to be there to help your man become what he is. A lot of men became great. There are men that are rubbing sticks together, but there's a woman that comes in and lights the fire. So when it comes to this submission thing, we got to be careful how we speak, because you're a reflection of your husband. That's all I'm saying. You're part of the company. If the company go belly up, you're a part of it too.
So let me say this to the ladies who are in here. So we purging right now. That feeling, I feel it coming out. Listen, stretch your hands right now. I feel it coming out. I want you to say it after me. Say, I don't mind being feminine. I don't mind being submissive.
Let your light shine tonight.
Just say it with me tonight. Listen, you're gonna get healed on tonight. I want to give a shout out to Jack Knock It Off tonight for the $50 super chat. Thank you so much. He says, what term describes a woman whom, when asked, in what way did you contribute to the end of the relationship? They reply with statements such as, I cared too much, I gave him too much, he never wanted, or I was too submissive. Okay.
Jedi.
Yep. So
Wait,
I want to address that in just a second. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Just so I can understand the full context of that comment. Were they saying that someone told her she was too submissive?
No. I think the context is
that's what she's saying. That's some of the excuses. Yeah, that's some of the excuses.
Some of the excuses that okay.
Let me give the super chat song, and then let's dig into this really quickly. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Grandma wants to say thank you.
Super chat.
Sorry about that, guys. Let me be professional.
Okay.
Let's dig into this tonight.
Look, let me tell you
what do we think about this?
Let me tell you something. I'm just going to be real quick with it. First of all, this conditional femininity, conditional masculinity, be who you are as a person. The problem is that we're engaging in meeting too many representatives. Everybody has a mask on. You're not meeting a real person. If you are a leader, move and act as a leader, which means that you should be meeting women who are in their feminine nature. And that's what you should be choosing. Women who will add value to their life. Like Black Man Unfiltered said, look, the greatest times of my marriage is when it was early on, when my wife continued to pour into me and I kept leveling up and she kept pouring. Okay. Like you said, I was ready to run through a brick wall, but then when things started going bad, I made it too comfortable. I said, but that's my job as a leader, is to make things comfortable for you, to make sure you have a soft landing when things do not work out for you. My job is not to watch you fail. But then I sat back, it's like, you know what? Maybe I should have let you fail so you can learn from your failures. But my job as your man is to protect you from yourself and not have you burden yourself with the worries of, will I not be able to succeed? I want you to be able to make decisions. I want you to be able to move and be able to strive for what you want. Because at the end of the day, your money really don't mean shit. I pay all the bills any goddamn way. I want you to live your dreams. You have your master's degree. You want to utilize it. Use it. But it doesn't define you as a person. It doesn't add value to this relationship. It's your personal goals. Because all my accolades, if I could walk around the street with all my accolades, nobody gives a shit. Because what goes on in the confines of our household is building, raising our children, letting the children see what a strong family structure look like so they can emulate that when they leave the house. But the problem is you got a level of complacency that always goes on. When you start getting used to the money coming in and you getting used to be going on trips and you being able, when you can go to the ATM machine and not pull your statement out to see if you have enough money in to buy what you want, or something breaks in the house and you know the money's there to fix it, you get comfortable. There are times when women start like, well, we got it. Why are you tripping? We got it. Nah, it's not about whether we have it or not. It's the fact that you stop building and you want to rest. Nah, we're continuously building. We're continuously working. You're competing for my attention. I'm competing with yours. We're competing with everybody outside. Money has to continuously grow. Our knowledge of each other has to continue to grow. You can't stop doing your job because you got what you want. Now that you got it, you have to work to keep it. I'm tired of hearing that there's no good man out there, but there's good men out there, but maybe you're not ready to receive what they have to give, which means that there has to be a little introspection into yourself and stop saying I'm a good woman and stop telling men when you meet them, I'm independent. Well, what's good about you? Well, I'm independent. No man gives a shit about your independence because you cannot be independent in a relationship. Why do I need you if you're independent? Why would I even want to give you a time of day or take you seriously if you're independent? That's
Dre, let me answer.
An adult.
Dre, let me answer.
You pay bills. You're an adult.
Dre,
that's not being independent. That's called being a grown-up.
Dre, so the reason why is because you're trying to control her. You need her to depend on you because you're trying to control her and tell her what to do. And she got to depend on you.
Did you hear what I just said?
And that's the shaming tactic they use right there.
But did you hear what I said before? My job is to make it.
Yeah.
Look, you do what you want.
I'm gonna have my own money to the side. You can control me, Negro.
My nest egg, I took $200 off every pay period.
I'm INDEPENDEND.
So Hell speaks. But what I said was, women want men that make a certain amount of money to match their financial irresponsibility. Trust me, I had to teach my wife how to save money because money was flying out of her account. I'm like, you have bills. Why is it important to get your nails done when you have this bill that needs to be paid? This is your bill. This ain't household bill. This is your bill. So the fact of the matter is, I'm not controlling you because at the end of the day, what women need to look at and what men have to also look at is what is your legacy? Once you're finished working, once you hit 75 years old and you can't work anymore, what do you have to show for it? Because you have women out there that are boss bitches making a lot of money, but they aren't saving a damn thing. They're going on trips, they're buying clothes, they're status, they're out with the Joneses. But when push come to shove and the pandemic showed, they had nothing to show for it.
Exactly.
So if you want to know what the purpose of a man is to solidify your future and your foundation. It gives you a foundation to have an understanding. You can make all the money in the world, but if you ain't saving shit, investing anything, or recontributing back into your household, you ain't doing nothing. Like Mandrell had what he said. You're an entrepreneur. You're not even an entrepreneur.
You're entrepreneur.
Right.
Yeah, entrepreneur. And you know what? You're right. In the pandemic, Mandrell, Sir Hale, I didn't know we didn't know podcast at that time. When that pandemic hit, we were sitting back here chilling. Right? A lot of people suffered. A lot of women look. Even Kevin Samuels said winter's coming. Right? A lot of women didn't have nobody in the house. They were losing their apartments. They were getting put out on especially here in Dallas. Oh, they're putting them out by the pound. Women on TV, this ain't right. This ain't fair. You didn't have no man, but before that pandemic hit, you was I don't need no man on your damn Instagram. But now when that pandemic hit, I ain't got no money to pay no bills. I lost my job. Now you know what it feels like not to have a man. The man you didn't need, you need him now. And during the pandemic, we were doing shows, we were laughing, having a good time. We didn't suffer any because guess what? We all knew how to save money. We all had that money set up where, okay, we're going to meet, we may be out of work, an emergency may come up, we're good. That's what men do. That's what leadership looks like. But a lot of women will put out on the streets.
That's what leadership should look like.
I got
and
you.
And let me say this was even back to the comment that the guy made with the super chat when he was saying like, you know, some women use that as an excuse. Oh, I was this, and it still wasn't enough. Because the bottom line is like, yeah, that happens a lot. Sometimes you can be all that for a man and it's not enough. But the problem is, you know, I mean, you go through bad experiences. It's trial and error, like when you're in the dating game, you know. But we can't pretend like every guy out there is financially responsible. Like he can be a good guy, character-wise, he's a great guy. He's not financially responsible. You got a great guy who, you know, great personality, great guy, but like just certain things that they do need to work on.
I got you. But here's the thing, though, Shamaria. Yeah, that's the thing is you're nitpicking. And what I noticed, what I've observed is that a lot of people just nitpick. A lot of women find a reason not to be with someone.
Self-sabotage.
Especially if he's a good guy. If she meets a guy who can pay his own bills, he's self-sustained. Okay, then they're not thinking like, if I marry him, I got my finances and my job, he has his, and then we put it together. Now we have double what we used to have, right? Mm-hmm. No, they look for things that are wrong with him. They look for reasons not to be with him. I don't know of men who do that. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. I don't observe that. I don't see it, you know. And I'd be goddamn. I agree with a cop.
It's a lot of men on the street.
Well, I mean,
don't make a habit out of this.
It's self-sabotage.
I mean,
I don't make it a habit. I agree with you tonight, though.
But I think
all the way.
Okay, so I know I'm on the panel, so anything I say is gonna be considered.
No, it's not that. Just like take into consideration that one of the comments that Sir Hill pulled up, that it was a whataboutism. What about the men who do this? No, we're talking about this topic tonight. How about we stay on topic?
Hey, Sir Hill, can you bring that comment and picture back up?
Yeah. What about us? I'm like, well, what about the men? And what about it? And none of that. It wouldn't.
That's what
I'm saying is like, yes, you can be all of that for a man, and sometimes like depending on the dude, like it's just.
And it's like I said, we said last night, Mary. It's just because you do all these things, does that guarantee that this man is going to be the perfect guy for you? No. The same thing with men. You could give a woman the world. It doesn't guarantee that she's going to love you. No, it's all a gamble. Right. Nothing is guaranteed in life, and no one is special. The universe simply does not care. Okay? And neither do people, real talk, until you give them a reason to care. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. It's all a gamble. You can give a woman the world, but you can never love her enough to love for both of you. You're never going to love her into liking you.
Yep.
It's like Dusto said, number one thing on your list should be, does she like you?
That was actually big.
That should be number one. Does she like you? This is something that I didn't even realize that I was neglecting for years. And it's brilliant. You need to know, first of all, does that woman like you, not love you? Does she like you? Yeah. And if you get the feeling that she doesn't like you,
right,
you're probably wasting your time.
And I think during the pandemic, a lot of men was like this, and then it ended up like this. because that's when Kevin Samuels really went hard in that pandemic, and all the women were looking for me. And then, come here, I'm in Texas, Doc. I'm telling you, they were at the church at the door when normally they'd be, hey, Miss Just, how you doing? Yep, carry on. During that pandemic, hey, how you doing? You want to come over and mow the yard for me? I sure wish you could bring me some groceries.
No,
right?
I can't do that.
The mind changed then, and a lot of men were like, "No, I'm good."
You've been doing it yourself all this other time.
All these other time, I'm good.
So let me ask Shushu a question, right? Hey, Shushu.
How you doing? What's going on?
What's going on, sis? So look, this is the question I want to ask, and I want to try to make sure I phrase it the right way so that you understand what I'm asking.
Mm-hmm.
So Black Man said that, you know, during the pandemic, you know, a lot of men, he named himself, few people here, and you know that they had saved and they had all this money and whatever they had put up, you know, to help them through the pandemic.
Absolutely.
What was the motivation, you think, that made you feel like you needed to say, well, you know, not all men, not a lot of men are financially savvy, you know, or financially responsible? Like what was the motivation that you think really, if you really did some introspection real quickly, what made you want to say that?
Because I think something that we don't consider when we discuss our perspectives, and we discuss perspectives from the perspective of people who are like us, and we have to remember that there aren't a whole lot of people like us. Like, you do have a group of people, you know what I mean, that share similar ideas, share similar habits, share similar perspectives, but it's not like you know, there are people out here who aren't like that.
But
you know,
but
what I mean?
you would agree that that's most people, right?
But some of it, and sometimes, and so some of the perspective that is given on this platform is from the perspective of like, oh, most men are, you know, like y'all. And the reality, you know, most of them, let's just be real.
They're not.
They're not.
I'm the 50.1% of men, right? I'm not nothing like Black Man, Sir Hell, Mandrell, Scam Likely.
We know
the other brother down there who said he pay all the bills. He just want his woman to be happy.
No. You're not measured by what's in your bank account. You're measured by your character, brother. So we're not going to sit up here and downgrade what you are and who you are just to say you're not like us. You are like us. You are a man. You're doing the work, and as long as you're doing the work, you're not defined by your pocketbook, right? You're defined by who you are. Right, you don't live for your resume, you live for your obituary. So when you laying down sleep, what they gonna say about you? They're gonna say, oh, that dude had 25 grand in the checking account. No, they're gonna say, Lil Podcast, I remember he was inspirational in my life. Even when he was going through, he helped me walk through. Right, Sir Hell, man, Sir Hell was clean every day, bro. But man, that dude had a word for you, bro. Every time you talk to him, he had a word for you, man. He would call and check on you. He would be there for you, dude. You don't live for the money, bro. You had never seen a U-Haul behind a damn hearse, right? So take the money out of it. It's about your character, bro, and who you are, man. So don't start the conversation like that, man. I had to check your ass. Don't you start the conversation like that. You a good dude,
no,
bro.
Listen, the only reason why I brought that up was because of the fact I wanted to stay in line with what was being said. You mentioned that, you know, a lot of brothers that you knew were saving. Shushu felt like she needed to point out that a lot of men aren't financially savvy. And I was thinking, well, most people aren't financially savvy, men or women across the board. You know what I'm saying? Like, not a lot of people weren't saving. But I do feel like at that point in time during the pandemic, I think the numbers suggested it was more women who lost their jobs. So I could understand why you were saying that they needed to be a little bit more proactive, right, when it came to dealing with men. But if I could just respond to the topic of the show, and if anybody said this, forgive me, I had to step away for a second when I was watching and take a call. But the way that I like to kind of separate responsibility and accountability, and I'm so glad you brought that up, Sir Hill, because I think a lot of people use those words interchangeably and they don't understand the differences or the nuances, right? But the way I like to position it is like this. I look at it from a behavior standpoint. Accountability is acknowledging. So accountability is I'm acknowledging what I did wrong. Responsibility is I'm paying for it. It's recompense, right? It's me taking responsibility for it. I'm changing it. Responsibility is correction. It is me changing my behavior, right? Somebody told me once before, the greatest apology is change behavior. You know what I'm saying? So that is the way I look at accountability versus responsibility. So like I apply this in conversation.
Fantastic.
Yes, fantastic.
I apply this in conversation, you know, with my lady when I'm telling her, you know, when I'm trying to offer her correction on something. I'm saying I'm not trying to be responsible for your change. I just want you to acknowledge that there's a situation. As long as you do that, then I can move gracefully and a little bit more peacefully in my mind, knowing that you are aware and that, you know, you will take responsibility for whatever this thing is we were discussing. So, and the same for me, vice versa. It's empowering to take accountability. That cannot be overstated. It is empowering to take accountability. It's something about it that I think a lot of teenagers and 20-year-olds probably won't understand. But once you hit 30s and 40s and you started realizing that, man, a lot of this stuff that I hold about my past, I made those decisions. I did this, I did that. Even if I was led down that road, I still did it. And then moving forward, you start taking accountability for what you do and responsibility for the outcomes of what you do. And I cannot stress how much I appreciate you bringing up this topic tonight, because a lot of people use those words interchangeably.
Excellent. So if you get the hand clap on that one, that was really good, man. That was really good. Really good breakdown, brother. So Jack said we didn't really answer this question, so I wanted to bring this back up. And I think what's been asked here is what describes a woman who does these things? If we can come up with a term that describes a woman who, when she's asked, you know, why the relationship ended, it's reasons that really don't say
so basically
she did anything wrong.
I call her a victim.
Victim Olympics.
No, really.
And Jack, knock it up. Let us know what you think as well. I mean, go ahead.
I've been spending some time doing evaluations over here in the Dustosphere, which represents 80% of the population of the Black population. I start with dusting off a lot of the men. Like Mandrell said, there's men out here that never even sat down to think, I'm looking for a spouse, woman, girlfriend, whatever. Let me try to find one who's actually interested in being here. They don't even ask the question, hey, is here where you want to be? They don't ask that question. Instead, it's, I got the bag. I'm 6'7", and I got the 6-pack, 6 feet. And they come with a stack of YouTube talking points and go throw it at a woman's face. Why should she follow that? Following an ego. But a lot of women, they're pretty dusty too. So they will follow it right on to the bank, to the grocery store, ragdoll you, waste your time, get your validation, get you spending on groceries, eat it all, gain 40 pounds, get banged out by Raw Dog Running, Ubered back to the streets. Now you're in court dealing with that wig slapping and crying on. I mean, that's what it is. So dust on the left, dust on the right. Men and women with problems. The women, I can go all day talking about what's going on, because I believe that their job is very simple. Go to the gym, listen to your man, even if you don't know anything. Like, look, my household, everything was screwed up. I grew up over here, and all you got to do, find the best man, lose weight, be pretty, smile, and say yes. Okay, I'll help you. It's pretty simple. But they said no. How do you put this together and somehow come up with some kind of marriage structured people? It just doesn't work. And it goes on, let's go all the way back to the first modern woman, Eve. Why are people still arguing about who's responsible? When in doubt, you can just blame the white man for it. Why not? But no, there's too many people fighting. Now, I'll just troll them both because they ain't listening no way. The men ain't listening, the woman ain't listening. So just troll them.
They're not.
But the women are doing the same thing with the same complaints, to the point where you could have a panel and put me on all 10 squares. I could act like the women and act like the men and quote all the points. You can put the names up if you want, and I can argue every point better than they can, faster than they can. I know what they're going to say. It's the same thing they said last week, 2 weeks ago, 6 months ago. Only thing is the women are saying they added 5, 10 extra pounds to it. The dudes are saying the same thing. You're going to submit. Yeah, I'm gonna provide. You're gonna.
That's off the train.
He's telling the truth.
I'm a leader. And then after all of that, you choke this woman to death. Give me some femininity. After you finish, then you look her in the eyes and say, because the Bible we had 58 wives, I'm gonna go over here to my side chick. That's what they're talking about over here in the Dustosphere. This was going on.
That's what's going on. It is.
Can I say this real quick? Can I say this real quick?
Go ahead.
I want to say, when it comes to, I want to make sure I get my words right, but I just can't find proper words to say, so I'm just gonna be raw with this shit. Sometimes when it comes to the men, I'll do the men with you. I'll make sure I hold the men accountable right now. When it comes to this, when I had this conversation with my male cousin about 3 weeks ago, I said, when we're blaming the women, you can blame the women all you want to. You can complain. You can say you every chick you done dated, you done got pregnant. I said, but you blaming all the women. I say, but you know who you need to blame? You need to, and I said this straightforward to him, and he almost wanted to come to blows. I didn't care. You need to blame that hole you came out of. He said, what you say? You talking about my mama? Yes. He said, why you say that about my mama? I said, let me tell you what I mean. Because you rambling off at the mouth, you cussing me out.
Ladies and gentlemen, this show just took another turn.
Your mama sat and told you that she was promiscuous. After she said she was promiscuous in her young days, she was having sex with multiple men. This is what his mama told him. After all the years of telling him his daddy wasn't shit, she kept saying his daddy wasn't shit because she didn't know who his daddy was.
Wow.
So you were the product of a man that you don't even know who your daddy is. Right? Your mama was out there to I was on the pool table with a man one night, and then 2 weeks later I met this guy at the club. We had said, I'm just confused, baby. I don't know who your daddy is. Right? So you don't know who your daddy is. So then now you don't know what man to hold accountable to raise his son. So now what the boy is going to do, he's going to be raised by his mother, right? He's going to grow up in the house with a mother that was very promiscuous. He may see different uncles coming in and out of the house. And then when he grow up, he's going to be a Pookie or Ray Ray playing the video games, not taking out the trash. He's going to become a son husband. He's going to be that nigga. They're going to be saying, oh, he a bitch ass nigga. Oh, he the dude that's out sleeping with all the women. But he had no leadership. So now what do we do with the men that were products of promiscuous women, and now they've grown up with no male leadership? Like Sir Hale said it one night, it just sticks with me. Sir Hale said, when I was 18, I was told to be a man, but I didn't become that man until I was 30. What about those men that are learning on the flip? I don't know shit. No male figure. My mama was sleeping with 4 different men. She don't even know who my daddy was. So now I got to go through life and figure this shit out every day. I got to figure out how to change a tire on my own. I got to figure out how to put the bait on the damn fishing hook. I got to figure out how to. You don't have no leadership.
I got it. Because we have one on the panel now who's learning on the fly. Ain't learning on the flip. He's learning on the fly. It's a podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
You see what he's doing.
Yeah,
he's up here on these panels learning.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. He's open, in my opinion, too open. You know what I'm saying. But I can count on him to be honest. You know what I'm saying? And that's a person I can work with. You know, so what you do is you try to mentor them. You try to teach them. If they take the information, they take it. If they don't, they don't. And you make that abundantly clear to them. Look, you can take the information or not. You can't say, but that's like my broadcast last night on how to get a woman to submit to you. Fellas, this is the answer. It's not an answer. It's not my opinion, is the answer. This is how you do this. Now you can take the answer and go out and apply it and be successful, or do what you want. You know what I'm saying? And that's me holding them accountable and leaving them, holding them accountable. Do what you want with it. You can't say you weren't told now.
But Mandrea,
because here's the thing, because they're still grown men. Now, I relate to what
hold
you're
on
saying.
Hold on a second, Mandrea. What is the answer?
Right.
I'm still waiting on that. So, what actually is that?
Did you watch my broadcast last night?
Yeah, but for the audience who didn't watch it, what's the answer?
Okay.
No. I mean that genuinely. I want people to know what the answer is. I thought it was a great broadcast.
Right. I just pulled up my notes. I'll read them off to you. Okay. The answer. The first episode of my series called The Answer.
Yeah, black people.
Submission. All right. The first thing you need, fellas, number one, fellas, this is on you. All on you. And understand, first rule is there are some women who are willing to submit. others who are not. The women who are not willing to submit, do not waste your time with them
Leave their ass
because they're
alone.
not going to submit. They're not going to submit. Don't waste your time. You cannot love them enough to make them submit. You can't care for them enough to
Mandrill,
make them
can I
submit.
interrupt real quick though? I'm talking about before the women, before submission, before marriage. I'm talking about men that don't even know how to change a damn tire.
All right.
You see what I'm saying? I'm talking about the men before
Well,
relationships.
the thing is, again, like I said, like we do at podcasts, we help him out as much as we can.
Yeah.
He asks questions, we talk to him, we answer his questions, we give him our insight, and we share with him the lessons we learned from our life experiences, and help him find his own way. You know what I'm saying? Help him make the right decisions while he's on his own path. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do with people like that, because there's nothing you can do while they're in the house. The one mother is teaching their kids not to be respectful. I've watched this countless times. You don't have to respect him. You don't have to say yes, sir. You don't have to say yes, ma'am.
Exactly.
You know, all that nonsense. There's nothing we can do about that. That's not if they're a minor, that's none of our business. We cannot intervene.
But here's the thing. One thing real quick, Mandrell. I'm hearing everybody say, give advice. Let me tell you something about men learning. When men really want to learn something, they will come to you and ask you. They are not receptive to unsolicited advice. But when they come to you and ask you something, but they're only going to come to you when they watch how you move, when they watch the results and watch how people address you. Like when I take to my clients that I consult about networking, I sit them at a table, I invite them to an event, a business event, and sit them at a table, and I said, watch me work the room. You talk to one person and somebody else will come talk to you or come to listen to your conversation. And after you have a group, you leave that group, let them speak, and you move on. By the end of the night, these folks are handling you business cards because they want to continue to move with you. Your personality and who you are as a person come up. So they ask, what did you say? What did you do? How did you get this? I saw when you did this. They're receptive. They're like Jedi Michael over there in the corner with the book and the glasses taking notes. Folks, whether it's male or woman or female, they're very receptive to information when they seek the information. That means they're open to learn. But when you are soliciting unsolicited information, they think you're preaching to them. They think you're trying to tell them about themselves, and they're not listening because they don't think they feel that you feel that you're better than them. But the best example is living in your own, being happy and comfortable in your own skin, being consistent to who you are as a person and as a man. If you're a Dusty, be a Dusty, be the best Dusty you could be, because all you're going to attract is more Dusties. But if you're a man on your purpose, stop talking about it and be about it. Because if you are making money, nobody will ever know what's in your bank account unless you tell them.
Right.
You don't have to dress in Prada, Louis Vuitton, and all that to be a man on purpose.
Right.
But how you move, and let me tell you something. You can tell. You can go to a restaurant and tell who's not worried about money. They're not ordering everything from the left side of the menu, but what they order is strategic. They know what they want and how they address the waiter and how they tip. They're not, it's not, I don't know. If you go out with me, order what you want. Male, female, if I invite you out, hey fam, bros need to hang out. We go out, bills paid, order. We're not worried about, I only had the chicken fingers. We're not supposed to be having that conversation, especially when you have men that are getting together to fellowship and build. Because when we get together is when we're the most receptive to the information that's coming. Because we want to know, man, Drill, how do you have so many people on your podcast listening to you and wanting to learn? Hey, Sir Hill Speak, your voice is phenomenal, and folks listen to you because the way you
articulate
and your projection of your voice.
That's a fact.
How can I can't speak like you, but how can I project my voice so I can command the same attention that you have? Folks will ask you when they see you on your purpose and they see the results from your work. But it has to be through your movement, not through your words. And women are the same way. When you put yourself in there, everybody say the dating pool is trash, then get out to that pool and go to another pool in a different neighborhood.
Hold on. Wait a second.
I'm not talking about no. I'm not talking about different race.
No. Listen.
Neighborhood.
No,
I'm saying,
Dre,
get out that trash pool.
Dre, that was bars. I want to give you a moment. Let's give it 5 seconds. And when something powerful is said, we give it 5 seconds to breathe. And then we say it again because that's an excellent Point. Please say that again for us.
If you say the dating pool is trash, leave the pool in this neighborhood and go to a pool in a different neighborhood. Change your surroundings. If all you're meeting is dudes that sag their pants and the pool ain't wintergreen and it's brown, then you know what? You need to get out that damn pool. Look at yourself, look at what you're projecting, because what you're projecting is what you're attracting. So you might have to do a little introspection and see who you are as a person and what you are exhibiting.
Sir Hale, we had another breathable moment. Hold on 1 second. Sir Hale, I got to use this. If I can, I got to use it. Say that again, brother. Say it one more time. We got to hear that part, because people don't understand that what you pull in is a representation of you. What you draw to you is a representation. So if he trash, I said that earlier.
Well, let's make a distinction though. So good people are going to attract all kind of people, but what you accept is a reflection of who you are.
Exactly.
If you attract, you can attract anything.
Right.
What you accept is who you are.
Yeah,
I can tell you what you think of yourself by looking at what you accept.
My Lord.
The thing is, you're right. You attract everybody, but if you are on your purpose and you require, even as a man, we have preferences, and you require a level of women that could complement what you bring, everybody else is invisible to you. And I'm not talking about height, weight. I'm just talking about character. If you build all your relationships on the foundation of sex, your pool is going to be nasty. So which means that you're going to have to find that diamond in shit. But if you build your foundation of the relationship based on character, morals, understanding, and this woman tells you, I'm falling in like with you, because I'm telling you, I can love you to death, but I don't like you. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I love you, but I don't like you. Dang.
And you know what? You're right. It's all about, if it's all about aura.
I'm sorry, Black Man, but before you go really quickly, let me show some respect to the people who've given to the channel.
Absolutely.
Jared Barkerty, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. He says, Sir Hill, people struggle with the difference between a feature and a benefit. I think I may do a show on that. Are you a feature or are you a benefit? Y'all, if y'all see somebody with a thumbnail like that, Sir Hill said it first. They're trying to be like me. Thank you so much, Jared Barkerty. I truly appreciate you. There's another one as well that came in from a member of the channel, Joseph. He says, my dad taught me the woman you choose can make or break you. Influence. See yourself and your seed as the prize, not a woman. Now let me give the super chat song and then we'll come back and we'll address it right after this. Super chat.
Pick it up, pick it up. You see the drip, yeah, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up. You see the drip, yeah, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up. Ooh, I've been on the flex since flex zone. Neighborhood all in your eardrums. I ain't never scared like Bone Crush. Boy, I got God, don't fear none. My line busy, take no calls. Feels like I don't have no flaws. Snakes in the grass, cut those off. Yo, squad shitty, my bros raw.
Oh, sorry about that, guys. We're back now. Sorry about that, guys. Guys, do we want to respond to the comments that came up here?
Yeah. I want to respond. You know what, man? I try so hard with my daughters, man, because I try to do visuals, and I tell them it's all about your aura and what you give off. And I tell my daughter, let's do the scenario. I said, if a group of men, 15 to 20 men, black men, walked in the room and saw Megan Thee Stallion, what would they think? She said, I don't know, Daddy. That she cute? I said, come on, baby. You're 18. Let's be realistic here. She said, well, they probably gonna look at her body and they probably gonna say she fine. I said, what else? Dad, you want me to say that? Yes. They're gonna want to hit it. I said, you're absolutely correct. Now, I said, if you walk back in that room, 15 to 20 men walked in and Michelle Obama was sitting there in the chair, what would those same men do? She said, I don't know. I said, they'll probably adjust themselves. They'll probably get respectable. They probably will talk different, walk different, move different, right? Because she's giving off something different. And I said, I tell my daughter all the time, you can be Megan or you can be Michelle Obama. But you have to, but men are going to, perception is reality. What you give men, that's what they're going to say. My men going to look at you and say, I'll take her home to mama, or I can take her to the Motel 6 down the street. It's what you give off that a man's going to choose what he wants to do with you in your life.
Excellent point. Listen, shout out to
My
to
God.
Kara who's in here and Mr. He Said, She Said. Beautiful content creators. Thank you guys so much. I truly appreciate you. Thanks so much for being here. I'm not going what you said is on point. So, guys, let's target the questions. Because I'm not going to be on here alone tonight. I really I have each of you have such a perspective that I respect, and I want to get your thoughts on this. My goal now, I'm not focused on people who don't want to be married or who are not married. Like I might talk about dating, but my goal is for people who want to be married and those who are. So where do we get it wrong at? What does a man need to do to prepare himself for marriage? What does a woman need to do? I want everybody to speak to that. So let's start with Jedi Mike. Let's start with you. You have an interesting perspective as a young man who's growing. From what you've seen, your example, you have parents who've been married. You've seen it growing up. What do men need to be? What do women need to be? What do they need to bring for a successful marriage to occur?
I said what they need to be healthy for one. It's like, not not trying to basically repeat any type of toxic behavior in themselves that eventually that they try to get into a relationship prematurely, because that's like where our culture, at least in my generation, we promote that. But again, everything's all nuanced. It's all like we just go with the flow, but yet we don't expect any consequences that come with that. At least we don't want to accept that. For on the men's side, I think for a lot of things, just that unfortunately, I think men need to realize as much as like we can talk about women, like things that they get just for being who they are. Us as men, we don't have the luxury of just waiting for something to happen. We have to get up and actually work for what we want. And it's not about talking about, okay, how many women I can get. It's just like, are you whole as an individual? Are you a leader? And how, like, what type of traits can you do that exhibit that leadership, at a very young age, and as you fully develop? People are watching. You think you don't. We always think that nobody's watching us, but we always are being watched. And that can, be in a negative way or a positive way. On men, I think it's crucial because we have more consequences because of that. If we don't have a man that's firm and square, and then that he's easily weak-minded, he's a very dangerous person, but not a danger to other people, but to himself. And especially when you try to invite a woman into that whole situation, it's only just going to going downhill from that. If you as a man are unstable. Women, on the other hand, there's a thing that this, again, going back to our culture, we're being indoctrinated about these things that we have fallen out, that we don't have to work for the things we want, especially for people we want to bring in our lives, right? That I'm perfect the way I am, and therefore I'm waiting for the man just to wait for me, and find me, and therefore I'm gonna get everything I want. That's bullshit. That's nothing that for you waiting for something when you're not put the work in, especially as a woman. Yes, you can get to certain luxury benefits, but the most narrative that we see in that space today, if that whole mindset was working, we wouldn't be having this conversation. So it's like, today, in terms of about the modern woman, it's like you become most miserable, but yet you're the most free in recorded history. And I think with that freedom comes you thinking that you don't have to earn work for things that you want. I like working to how to develop being a asset to a positive man, a man that's supposed to be hopefully your leader, right? And then thing also too, and I'll end off with this point, is that on both men and women, but I think it's just because talking about for a modern woman, is to get rid of ego, get rid of entitlement, thinking that I should be married, I should have a wife, I should have a husband. What have you done to actually earn that? Because then there's benefits when you claim that title, and yet you think as much of it as as something as luxury for Instagram and social media. But at the end of the day, it's also some things that it takes a lot of work, and some people are not fit for it, and some people have to accept that reality that maybe I'm not called to be married, and that's okay. But if you want to all this time listen to your girlfriends and everything saying that I don't need a husband, I don't need no man, everything, and then later you complain, well, I couldn't find nothing, you're distracted. So I'm asking us as men and women to be focused on what things we want and what we need to do to get there.
Hey, brother, truly appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Dusto, thank you so much for being here, man. Listen, thank you for the truth that you bring as well. Even though sometimes if people don't know you, they think it's pessimism, but it really is you're stating the state of where we are before you give the truth about what it takes to change. So I appreciate you for that, man. It's an interesting intelligence that you display, and I truly appreciate you, brother. So, like I said, I'm promoting relationships, healthy ones, marriage, and men who want to be married. What's your advice? What do we simply need to do so we can make our relationships work? And I know we say that what works for your relationship doesn't work for mine. Here's what I believe. I think there's a set of universal principles that will work for any relationship. All right. And so if you can you speak to that for us?
Man, that's a rough one. And this is where I have to say I can't say but so much because I'm single. And also I've seen so many different sides of this because I hear what people are being told. So it's not that I fully and appreciate it. It's not that I represent the pessimistic side. It's that I understand also what it's like when people are told something, then they open the front door and go outside and it ain't what somebody told them it was. So I could tell 5 men, yeah, you need to do this, and this. You need to make this money. You need to get your abs right and do whatever. But they might be sitting right next to me and single, and they actually qualify for the spouses that they're looking for. But at the end of the day, there's millions of men that qualify for marriage, and there's only 6 women per state that actually want to be wives. So there are going to be a lot of people who don't have spouses. That's just what it's going to be. And the path that it's going is going to get worse. That's what I see. So I can honestly admit, this isn't something I can give somebody an answer to and give a formula. I can only give a formula to a woman who wants to find a man, because there are those men sitting right out there waiting to be husbands. And they're actually willing to work with the woman who almost isn't even a wife, if they just show the potential that they want to be one. That's all I got.
Hey, appreciate you, my brother. Thank you so much. And those who are in the comments as well, if you guys can, let me go against the manosphere. If you guys can partner with me and help get the message out, because I'm promoting love. Like I said, I might talk about stuff that's serious, but the heart of all this is love. And if we don't love and respect each other, we ain't got nothing. So you guys something to do that as well. If you guys got advice for people who are married or who want to be, just put those little pieces of advices in there, because people read those chats. So put something in there. You guys share it as we're sharing as well. I seen a little podcast. What you got for us, man? And again, thanks so much for being here. Shout out to Chicago Bulls, my city. Thank you so much, my brother. What you got for us?
It's a very I think for me, I would say it's a difficult question because of the fact that people are different. And I know on the show earlier this week, somebody asked the question, would you want your daughter to date you? And I'm like, if my daughter was like me, I would say yes, because then she would understand the type of person that I am, and I think she could build with that person. But knowing my daughter, then I would have to say no, right? So, having that type of introspection makes me look around, and it says, well, what do I tell this guy, right, is the key to a successful marriage if he wants this type of woman who most people would say isn't marriage material, but like that's what he really likes, that's what he's really attracted to, right? So he has to find a way to make things work with that particular woman if that's the woman that he wants. He might not be able to implement all of these so-called YouTube talking points into his relationship because they won't work on that particular woman. Right. So I think in a lot of ways it is different for everybody. But I will say I came up with this acronym. I'm not bragging. I do that sometimes. It's called AIM. AIM. It's accountability, introspection, and maturity. And I think anybody that possesses those 3 qualities in their behavior, their personality, and their mindset, I think can be marriage material. Because if you're accountable, then you're going to be very mindful to how you talk and treat people. If you're very introspective, then you're going to be very accountable and mindful to your own behavior and your decisions, and you're not going to be pointing the finger a lot, right? And then if you're very mature, then I think you'll just be able to coincide with another person. Because I think a lot of us are very immature, especially coming from single parent household and unbalanced, dysfunctional situations. And so we go into relationships, and a lot of us shack up early. I know I did. multiple times, and there's a lack of maturity there to even be able to deal with somebody on a constant day-to-day basis. We aren't necessarily being prepared to cohabitate with somebody else, right? And so, but I think if you have those three things, if you can aim high, I'll say, right? If you have accountability, introspection, and maturity, I think that's a great foundation for you to move forward on to be a marriageable person. I'll end it there.
So this man is so shy. He's got the tags under his hat. If you're not from Illinois, if you're not from Chi, you don't understand what's going on here. Single Little Podcast, thank you so much for being here, man. You're an intelligent brother, a good-hearted brother. So glad that you are here tonight, man. Truly, truly appreciate you. Mandrell, I just posted the link to the show that you and Shushu did yesterday, which I think, guys, if you haven't listened to a Mandrell show and Shushu's show from yesterday, it's absolutely fantastic. And I want everybody after this stream, listen, after this stream, to go take a listen to this show. And be sure to subscribe to Black Men Unfiltered Network. They're doing some really great work and having some conversations that's really pushing the needle forward as well. And so, Mandrell and Shushu, I appreciate you both. But Mandrell, if you can give us some insight into that show, what made you do that? And then what do we need to do going forward to build better, healthier relationships going forward?
Well, to build better, healthier relationships. And to answer this question, what inspired me to do this was because I just got to a point where I was tired of hearing all the BS and the misinformation out here on YouTube. You hear a lot of people saying a man needs to be on his purpose. People don't know what the purpose is. A woman needs to get in your program. Well, what program? What is a program? No one's explaining these things. A woman needs to be submissive. No one knows explaining what submissive is. No one explaining to men how to get submission out of a woman. You know what I'm saying? So I figured I'd start with that by telling men how to get submission out of a woman, because guys still seem to be lost, and it's been going on for months. You know what I mean? So I figured since no one else is going to tell them, I may as well. And last night was probably the most open I've been on YouTube, because it's what it was honestly just completely me. That's what I really think about it, and that is what it is. You know, so I was really uncomfortable doing last night's show the whole time. I was never comfortable. So, because me opening up like that is not a big thing for me. I usually don't do that. So that's what inspired it, and how to make better relationships. First of all, does that person, whether you're a woman or a man, I mean, the person you're out with, ask yourself this: does that person even like you? Forget what qualities you see in that person. Those are good and all, but you have to focus in on, does that person even like me? You go from there. And I mean, I could read off the notes from how to get submission from a woman, but I don't know if Sir Hill wants me to do that. So, but
yeah, so I want you to take some time and read that off. Like I said, I thought it was excellent last night, and I would like my audience here tonight, if you can just reiterate what you went over last night. I would love for you to do that, please.
All right. Well, the first one, let's start with consistency. This is for men, okay? Men, consistency. You must be consistent in the way you treat your lady. You can't treat her like an angel today and treat her like trash tomorrow. You can't. She's not going to trust that, okay? You have to be consistent in the way you provide and protect with her. If you're going to lead, this is why people tell you not to lead with your wallet. If you come into the relationship blowing money on this lady, but you can't keep that up, it's going to show, and she's not going to trust you. She's going to feel like she's been frauded. You know, you have to be consistent in the way you provide and protect, you know, so otherwise she's not going to trust you. So the second one is you have to be humble. You have to be humble enough to understand that just because an idea is not your idea, it doesn't mean that it's a bad idea. You know, if you have to be humble enough to ask for help. If your lady needs you to do something, or something that you're doing on your own, you go to your lady for help. She'll appreciate that. She'll appreciate you including her into your life. And she'll see that you're humble enough to value her insight and value her assistance. Okay? Even if you're just asking random strangers for help, ask for help. I mean, be humble. You're not the greatest thing walking. I mean, and women are going to look at you different because they're not expecting you to know everything. All right. I mean, far too many guys out here will go down this road having no idea what they're doing. And instead of asking for help, you lead both you and your lady right off a cliff. All right. Number 3, confidence. You must be confident in yourself and everything you do. If you tell your woman, I can do this, but I can do this. Don't worry, I got it. She'll trust you. Okay, he says he's got it. But if you're sitting there like, I don't know, maybe, I'm not sure. I don't think I might be able to do it. No. Then your lady's gonna be like, no, forget it. That's right, I'll call somebody else. And she's right to. That's the thing, fellas. She's right to. Last but never least is the most important. You must be dependable. If you say that you're going to do something, you need to do it. Period. Your yes must mean yes. Your no must mean no. Women love a man who stands on a square that not even she can knock him off of. That's why from day one, you've all heard me that I have this core group of things about me that I have here that I cannot change. I'm not going to change. Not even for my wife. Not for my sister, not for my mother, not for anybody. I don't change that for nobody. These core group of things here. The rest can be negotiated, but I still have this square here that I stand on, these principles. Okay? Dependable men show up either all of the time or most of the time. The reason why I say most of the time is because life happens. Sometimes you fully intend to do something or take care of something, but life gets in the way for whatever reason. However, sometimes you're just not able to, but you show up. But dependable men show up 99% of the time. You must keep your word. A promise is a promise. Your honor can't be for sale, fellas. You give your lady your word, you're going to do something. Now, being dependable must be a habit. Like I said, it goes back to the other one. Dependable men show up 99% of the time. Now, that 1% of the time that you don't show up, your lady will understand that. She understands that sometimes life gets in the way. Sometimes unforeseen obstacles get in your way. She'll see that, and she'll understand it because you show up every other time. This has to be a habit. Now, what I've listed off here, people, all fall under the umbrella of character. Got nothing to do with money. Got nothing to do with the way the guy looks. Got nothing to do with being fake. This is how you get submission out of a woman. If you are all of these things, fellas, a woman will submit to you, a woman who wants to. And I task you to find me a woman who disagrees.
Well, why does this man doesn't have a YouTube channel? Why?
Hey guys. Hey, I appreciate your man. Thank you so much for sharing it tonight. That was excellent. If you guys can do me a favor, I'm going to start ending the stream. If you guys could be so kind to please stick around for me for the after show, okay? I do want to talk about a couple of things, if you guys can, okay? Mandro, thank you. Dusto, thank you. Little Podcast, thank you. All right, Mr. Dre, you've been here tonight. Thank you so much for spending time with us. Got a chance to meet you over on Real Nathan Daly's channel, and truly appreciate your experience, what you do. I didn't know what you did for a profession, but it was awesome to hear your experience. Thank you for bringing that here and then lending to the conversation. So how do we move forward? How do we improve relationships? And what advice do you have for people who are either married or those who are in relationships and they wanted to escalate towards that?
Okay. Pretty easy. Since I've been on both sides of the spectrum, I'm going to tell you, marriage is a wonderful thing. It's a beautiful thing when you're married to the right person. And the way you understand that you're with the right person is that you feel like you're one. You operate as one. So if you're dating someone and you can see a future with this person, they compliment you, which means that they don't complete you, but they compliment you. You're not broken that somebody need, or you're not missing something that this person is a missing piece. You need to be whole as a person, whole understanding of who you are as a person, which means that before you get to any relationship, you should be able to take a trip by yourself, go to a restaurant by yourself, go to a movie by yourself, because if you can't be by yourself, you can't expect anybody else to be by yourself. You know what I'm saying? I love me. I go out by myself. I enjoy the company of me, but I can't expect anybody else to enjoy the company of me if I don't like being with me, which means that you have to be comfortable in your own skin and be transparent and truthful. Can't lie to your mate. You have to be honest. And when I talk about honesty, I'm not talking about, do I look fat in this dress? When I talk about honesty, honest with your feelings, honest with your expectations, honest what you see the future is. Okay, because you don't want to waste the time of somebody that you really don't see a future with, because you're only there because you're comfortable. Fuck your comfortability. You're messing with somebody's life and their future, and unfortunately, women don't have the same timeline as we do. So you have to be a man on your purpose and be deliberate what you want and stand by it, because whatever it took to get her hooked is the same thing that's going to keep her, and it's vice versa. Keep it moving. Keep reinventing your relationship. Don't be stagnant. Don't get comfortable. You've been with somebody a year. You can't be in the same place the next year. Each year, something new has to happen because you're building. What you want to do is build a foundation, not only of memories, understanding. So now she has a ledger saying, okay, we've been in this situation. This is how he responded, and it came out favorable for us. We had this issue. He responded. It didn't come out the way I wanted it, but it resolved. We was able to get by it. So you building that trust to understand that I can put my safety and my being into this man. You can't come into a relationship with a wall up. If you are not prepared to let this man have all of you, everything that is of you, don't mess with this man. Don't play with his emotions, because when men fall in love, we know who we want. And when we choose you, if you're not prepared, be honest. Don't stick around. Be honest. I enjoy the time we have together, but I'm not ready for marriage. And I don't want to be a girlfriend. I just want to do me. Be honest. And that man will have to be honest with himself to know that you can't make somebody else want you. Continue on your path and your purpose, and folks will see when you have that optimism, that positive energy, that confidence that Mandrell was talking about, you will attract folks. What you put out is what you receive. But you can't come into a relationship and expect somebody to be truthful with you if you're coming in there with lies. Before you decide to escalate your relationship, find out exactly what it is that you want and what's your time frame. Don't be afraid to say, hey, what are you looking for? I want to be married. I'm looking to be married within the next year and a half. So anything I get into, this is what I'm working towards. Be deliberate with what you want and uncompromising for what you need. I'm a Gen X. I'm one of the last groups that understood what a true traditional family looked like. So and I understand the dynamics of marriage, and it's not about placating to your man. Yes, a woman, you're a helpmate, but you have to understand what it is that you're helping. You're not sacrificing your future and your livelihood and your dreams to boost up another man's dreams. What you're doing is complementing, because your skill set is an asset to this man. I don't know everything. So there's times where I'll take a step back. Hey, this is your wheelhouse. You take the lead. I will support you, because I don't know everything. But as soon as we get into my comfort zone, I got it. Thank you. I've learned from you. I know what to do next one. That you help me. You can't cook. I can cook. I can teach you how to cook. We don't want to know how to cook, but you clean. Cool. You clean. I cook. We work together. You're helping me. You're my helpmate. That is the foundation of a relationship. Not feeling like you're obligated to do anything, but doing it because you want to. You want to see your man and your woman happy. You see a need and you're providing that need, but stop doing husband duties with girlfriend relationships. Hold that off. Live in your purpose. Don't pay any bills to a place that you're not laying your head. Don't be a what we call them in Georgia, caking. You know what I'm saying? You'll be a paymaster, paying bills to a relationship that you really don't even know if this woman even like you or not.
Beta.
Build a foundational character. Build a foundational character. And trust me, it will work out for you.
Listen, y'all give Brother Dre a hand clap. He done gave you some advice that, listen, if you don't take this, it's because you don't want to do no better. Brother Dre, thank you so much for sharing this and getting to the heart of all this. Back to love, and you got to be intentional about what you give. You want something, you put it out there. You give it first. Love what you said. Thank you so much, man. I truly appreciate you. If you can, please stick around for a few minutes. If you can.
We'll do.
Okay. To Shushu, thanks so much for being here. You've been the lady who graced the panel. Of course, you have a perspective, and thank you so much for being open and honest and authentic about this. But from your perspective, as we talk about love and marriage and relationships, what advice can you give? What honesty can you give about what we need to do moving forward in terms of those who are in marriages and those who want to be in that, both, on the woman's side and for men as well?
I think the greatest advice I can give is, if you are looking to get married, then do you have an example of what marriage looks like, or a couple who've been married? I'm talking about for an extended period of time, not like newlyweds, because you do need an example. Another thing is, you do need to heal past traumas, because the last thing you want to do is take your past issues into a present situation on into the future. Work on yourself. Also, if you feel like you're not finding what you're looking for in the dating pool that you're in, move to another dating pool. It might be. I mean, if you definitely ain't gonna find a husband in the club. you know what I mean? So go to places where, maybe like trade events or something like that, or I don't know, like for me, for instance, I go to film events and screenings and stuff like that, and you meet a lot of different people. So what else can I say? Femininity does go a long way. I mean, we didn't really get too deep into it, but I've seen what being really feminine looks like, and the magic. I'm telling you, it looks like magic. So yeah, definitely work on your femininity, and work on yourself. Be open, and that's what I want to say. Be open and willing to work with someone, because when you're in a relationship, and which that starts before the marriage. When you're in a relationship, you got to remember, it's not just you. It's you're with another person. So the decisions that you make, you do have to consider your partner. And a lot of times, women being single, you get used to doing things yourself, but being mindful, hey, I'm not on my own. I'm not by myself. I do have my man here. So let me step back and let him handle it. So just being aware of that. And I guess that's all I got.
Thank you so much, sister. I truly appreciate you. I appreciate what you spoke on tonight with such eloquence and grace. Thank you so much. If you can, please stick around. We love your thoughts. I'm going to really try to keep the after show short tonight. I know Black Man and I, we always say that, and then we be on for 17 hours, but we're going to try to shorten it up tonight. Thank you, Shushu. I appreciate you. Round of applause for Shushu, everybody. All right, Black Man and Filter, my brother from another mother. What's up, man? Thanks so much for being here. As always, you bring a great perspective to the conversation. So you've heard what both you and I talk about. How do we move forward, man? How do we get past talking points and rhetoric to love and healthy relationships? What advice do you have, my brother?
I think in the advice that we give, we have to be mindful. I think there's too many chiefs and not enough Indians. I think that people are out here on different platforms and different channels and promoting different things and saying what it is and what it isn't, and what marriage is and what marriage isn't. And so I'm gonna speak from a perspective of people that want to be married and people that are married. I, Black Men Unfiltered, or I, whatever the female's name is, The vows say, I take you to be my lawfully wedded wife or husband, regardless of what it is. This is what you both will say to each other. To have and to hold from this day forward, right? To have you, to hold you down, to have you close, to have you. This is what it says, to have and to hold from this day forward. But then it gets a little, this is where the advice from other people and the advice from other platforms and things like that, where it gets construed for me. Because the next line says this, for better or for worse. Whoa, you mean to tell me that when you're married, I'm talking to the married people now, when you're married, for better or for worse, that means one day she may have an attitude, one day he may have a bad day. You're going to go through things, right? God didn't promise you happiness, but he promised you joy. So for better or for worse. But then we talk about high value men and what women want and hypergamy, right? Then that construes me a little bit too, because then the next line after that says, for richer or for poor. Damn, wait a minute. So I'm going to love him whether we're in a mansion or we sleeping in a damn cardboard box. This is the commitment that I made. For richer or for poor. Wait a minute. He's coughing. Wait, he's sick. Wait, he's in the hospital? Yes. God said, don't worry about that. I got something for that too. For sickness and in health. That means when he's sick, that means when he gets cancer and he can't walk, you're by his side. That means when she gets cancer and can't walk, you're by her side through sickness and in health. When you're healthy enough to jog and when you're sick enough to die, this is the commitment that you made to your husband or to your wife. Then it goes on to say, I will love and honor you all the days of my life. So we've already talked about it. We talked about for richer or for poor, for better or for worse, from this day forward, we're going to have and to hold each other from this day forward through sickness and in health until death do us part, meaning nothing can separate us but death. You got an attitude, nothing can separate us but death. If you're going through an argument and you got children problems and you got a blended family, nothing can separate us but death. A lot of the arguing points would disappear if married people would show the light, right? Because everybody has to go through to get to what it is that God has for them. Last thing, and I'm done. When you're at the altar and you're sitting there, you're looking at your wife and wives, you're sitting there looking at your husbands, the thing that you have to understand is that when you say I do to your husband, you're saying I do to not just your husband, not just because your mama on the front row, not because your auntie came in from San Diego. You're saying yes to this man to be his wife, to follow these vows, not to call somebody else into the house, not to have another man in your house, not to have another woman in your house, but you're saying I do to this, to 6 people, because over the years, your husband's going to evolve. He may like spaghetti the first year that you're together, but the second year he may lose his taste for it. He may like to go to Jamaica, but the third year he doesn't want to go to Jamaica anymore for the annual trip. He's going to evolve. Your wives are going to evolve. Your wife may have 2 children for you and gain 50 pounds for better or for worse. Your husband may lose his job and be unemployed, and he's struggling to find employment in the world that we live in today, for better, for richer or for poor. Your wife may go to the doctor and they tell her, ma'am, you got lupus, ma'am, you got cancer, through sickness and in health. Do we say this because our parents are there? Do we say this because we have an audience of people, or do we say this because we mean it? The arguing in the wars would stop if people took what they say seriously. Take it seriously. When you say I do to the person in front of you, you're saying I do to 6 other people, because you're going to marry a person that's going to evolve. Your wife may like roses the first year, but next year she may like tulips. And I'm done after this. We have to prepare ourselves as husbands. We have to prepare, women have to prepare themselves as wives to understand that in marriage there will be evolution. And we must attach ourselves to that ever-changing evolution and embrace it in relationships with work. These are for the people that are married now and the people that are preparing to get married. Look at those vows and understand when you get in front of God and make that vow in front of God and all your family, you're making that vow not to smile and be cute, but you're making that vow to tell that man, I don't care what you go through. I'm going to be right here by your side. I'm going to help you through the worst of it. And that man's going to look at you and say, you know what? If you do that for me, I'm going to run through a wall for you. I'm going to carry you when you fall. I'm going to feed you when you're hungry. I'm going to pick you up when you're crippled because I made a vow to you as well. And I think, and I think relationships at that point, you two will lose a lot of money if everybody paid attention to their vows and they saved themselves for the person that they wanted to be with instead of giving themselves to the people that don't mean nothing. I'm out.
Hey, Black man, thank you so much, man. That was some passion behind that, man. I truly appreciate you, my brother.
Man.
Everybody, Black man gets a hand clap for that, man. Thanks for sharing that tonight. I truly appreciate you. Moderators, please drop this great man's channel. Please stick around for me, my brother. I truly appreciate you. All right, y'all, we're going to wrap up tonight. I think it was a really good night. Thank you for everybody who joined. Thursdays, things have switched up in the network. And so you'll probably see people, new faces coming in. You'll probably see a couple new faces next week. But things are changing and things are growing. And what we're doing now is you have to decide what type of life you want. And if you want a life of struggling and a life of contention, then, but if you want a life of peace and love and development and growth and support, you got to put that out there. So men and women, invest in each other. Go into a relationship with love. Of course, you got to have your brain on because people switch up on you and people change up on you. But some advice that I want to give to people who are married and want to be, two things. One is don't share private information with people on the outside, because people you think you can trust today, particularly those who are not prayerful, people who don't push you back to do the right thing, will end up taking information and instead of presenting it to God, will give it to people who can't do nothing about it. So you two have to become so connected and so strong together that the stuff y'all need to talk about, y'all can talk and pray together as well. And surround yourself with people who hold you both accountable, who don't just make you blame it on somebody else, but people who actually make you take a look at yourself, because the truth is the person you're with ain't always wrong. Sometimes you need to be checked. And we have to be humble enough to know that that's the case. The second thing is, now, whether you're religious or not, don't ever forget your vow to God. I think a lot of times we place our faith in people, and your spouse or the person you're with can make you so frustrated that it makes you forget who you are even before you met them. And we have to have some loyalty to our faith. And then from our faith, that loyalty that we display to each other is a reflection of something far deeper than the human aspect of relationship. It goes deeper than that. So let's lead with love. Ladies, don't forget what I told you as well. You got to be those 4 eyes. You've got to have that insight. You've got to have that integrity. You have to understand your influence. You have to understand that you have to have integrity. Those kind of things are things that men need. And when we come into our lives to be a benefit, it's amazing what our relationships can do. So listen, I'm promoting marriage. Marriage is beautiful. I'm married to my wife of 15 years. We celebrated 15 years June 15th. That's my girl. And I told my story before that we got married, and it wasn't for love. I was 19 years old. I didn't know about love, but it turned into it. I knew I had to be responsible and that I had a duty to my wife. And I thank God that after years of stuff, we can still go through things. Ain't no marriage perfect, but that's my friend. That's my girl. And I'm honored that she's in my life. People may say what they want to say, but when I get off this stream, I got somebody who is going to love me waiting for me. And I pray that everybody gets this love. We don't show off, we demonstrate. We demonstrate how to do things right so that we can have a better life. Love you guys. Have a good night. Until next time, Sir Hill Speaks. We're out the building. To our moderators, thank you. To all of our channel members, thank you so much for being a part of us. To all of our subscribers, we love you. And to all of our haters, we're praying for you, that God does you well. All right, y'all, well, have a good night. We'll talk with you soon. Peace.
Let it go. 얼어붙어 like whoa. 띵하고 어지러워. I see. 한여름에도 넌 겨울. Yeah, 가렵고 blood. Yeah, 너와 있을 때 I swear. 제가 먼저 zero 폭설한 기출돼 꿈에도 I wasn't done 나만 빼고 넌 모두에게 참 친절해 배신감이 들어 단판이 태도 머릿속을 흔드니 ibuprofen 그만해 it's time to stop 승부욕을 자극하는 style
Get back, ladies and gentlemen.
자꾸 내게 가 I'ma 빠져버릴까 If you want me back I'll tell you I'm sorry If you
Come
want
on,
me
y'all.
back
Let's do this verse real quick and we're
I'll
gonna rock
tell
out and
you
then we're gonna
stop
go.
trying Yeah,
Let's
you
go.
got me Let it go 얼어붙어 like whoa 네가 꼭 거짓어봐 I see 한여름에 더 남겨 Yeah, girl you cold-blooded Yeah, girl you cold-blooded I'm like frozen 뭐야 모든 스트레스는 gotta let it go 했어 속였던 데이팅 어플 다 깔아도 보았어 반대가 끌린대 opposites attract Don't know about me and you yeah we fell into the cracks Yeah 깎고 너네 no cap